And everybody can come in. Hi.
Log in again.
So I'll say this later, but I am recording this. So anyone who would like a copy, just put your email in the chat and I will send you a copy.
Oh, sorry.
What about?
Do you want the video on?
Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Doing okay.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Does anyone know if Carol's coming?
She is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
She's on.
There she is.
Yes.
Can you see Carol?
Somebody's, I don't know why I want her feedback.
Yeah, we gotta get off.
Are we supposed to mute our audio when we're not speaking, or?
Yes, but I think for the moment it's okay. It's just if maybe two people are in the same place, maybe that's what the feedback is.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Carol. How are you?
Because we have two devices going.
Okay. Then maybe
You gotta mute it.
flip the device that video can would be helpful.
Is that us making? the-
Yes, we have two devices.
Okay. So if the two device people will either mute one or both, then that's it. Wow, what a Jeez, amazing. Hmm.
Can you see me, Sherry?
No.
Hi, Dan.
Hi.
David Newman.
Can you put your video on? Do you know where that is in the left-hand corner? Carol?
My brother is doing it. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you deserve to not know what you're doing.
You're allowed. Go to you.
David Newman.
There.
Hi, Dan.
Okay.
She's up there now.
And
She's on there.
Am I on it now?
right
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
You see her now, don't you? There's Carol.
There's Carol.
Hi, Carol. It's Barb.
Carol.
Hi.
Oh, I gotta put mine on.
Can you come closer, Carol, or?
It should be all.
Oh my God, we set this up. We tried to do it the way Michael would do it.
Well,
Get your shot.
I feel
Is
like
that better?
the spot with the
We
computer.
just lost it.
Hmm.
oh, I see.
Uh-oh.
That should be on.
There it is. Okay.
Can you click view up there in your room?
What should it do?
It should show everybody. Not that one.
Everyone who does not have their video turned on, please do that so we can all see each other.
You don't want to see me.
Yes, I do.
Yes,
I've been
Do what I do.
cooped up a long time.
That comes out. when I
Big door. There you are.
video.
But for 6
Hi,
months.
Carol.
Carol.
Hi.
Hello.
Derek's right here too.
Oh,
Oh,
Hi, Carol.
hi.
It's
Hi,
working.
Carol.
It's
Carol.
working.
Hi, Juanita. How are you doing?
Carol, can you hear me? It's Barb.
Oh,
Thanks.
yeah.
Hey, Carol, it's Shay.
Who is it?
Shay.
Shay.
Hey, Shay, nice to see you. How are you doing?
You know,
Yeah.
Carol, can you hear me? It's Barb.
Barb, I can hear you. I know
Oh,
that
good.
voice anywhere.
Yeah.
Probably there.
It's a little like our parents' generation. They get a long distance call. It's like, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, Carol. Hi, Carol. It's Harrison.
Hi, Harrison. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, dear.
Hey, Carol, it's Jay Greenfield.
Hi, it's Andy Yarrow.
Andy, hi, Andy.
Hi, hi.
Hi, Carol. It's Sandy.
Andy, how nice to see you.
Hey, Carol, it's Sue Kensington.
You won't be able to see.
There's Sarah.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
Susan Copier, Carol.
Hi,
Hi.
David.
Miriam.
Hi, Susan. Hi.
Hi.
How do we do it here?
Miriam here.
Can you see me, Carol?
I can't see you, Bill. I can hear you.
Where do I, how can you see me?
You need to hit start video.
At the bottom, yes.
Start video.
Hi, Susie.
Turn on your video, Bill.
Oh, it's turned off. Thank you. Hey, guys.
There you are.
Oh my goodness, it's Bill Chapman.
It is Bill Chapman. Who are you?
Hi.
Oh, Lorena.
Carol. Lori Bunch and Derek
Hi.
and Juanita.
Hi, Juanita.
If you pull the edges of your screen apart, I see 25 of us on screen. If you pull the edges, grab them and just move them out.
If you go to, so
You
you
might
just
see
do
everything.
this gallery view. You
Yeah.
can see everybody.
Gallery view.
Yes.
Hi, Carol.
Just click the little
Who's that?
icon.
Hey, David. Hello. Hi, David.
Carol.
How are
my dear. I'm fine, but just completely broken up over this. It's just too much.
I know.
I know.
Yeah,
Carol, it's Ron.
rough 6 months.
Carol, hello, this is Tim Weil.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
You care?
No.
All right. I don't know why we're not visible.
Carol, we wish we could be there and give you a hug.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You could too.
Oh my gosh.
If you're not able to get your video, typically on the bottom left of your screen, you'll see an icon of a video camera with a red line through it.
Oh, how about that?
Click that.
That helps too.
and you'll become visible.
38 participants.
Wow.
We don't want all these.
No.
Hi, Aunt Carol.
Hi, Susie, sweetheart. How are you?
Doing all right.
There's Liz.
I don't know.
There's Andy.
Hi, honey.
Hello. Where are you? I can't see.
I have Carol. There we go. Wait a minute.
There you are.
Ginger.
I have to sit on a pillow.
Okay.
Right here.
So beautiful.
Hi. That's so sick.
Yeah, you figured it out, huh?
I had to call my IT guy, but I did.
Good. Melanie and Steve.
Hi, Mel. Hi.
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 Babies all day, every day, so.
Wow.
And
There
then-
are already 51 people. Oh, my God.
Oh my
That's
God.
I'm in.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
53.
Wow.
Who's saying hi? I can't even tell.
I
Hey,
can't.
you guys.
That was
I
Liz Weinstein.
See it.
Oh, there's Liz. Where is Liz? Liz was there a second ago.
I'm here.
Hi, Liz.
Carol's IT guy's having trouble finding the gallery view. Can anyone help? We're on a Mac.
I
It's
can't.
usually on the right side,
now.
top right.
Oh,
Right, top right. on the map.
it should say view. Hi, Dan.
Oh,
Over
Melanie.
the upper right. Hover your cursor over the upper right where it says speaker to a gallery.
Got it.
Nice.
Oh,
Thank
there
you,
you
thank
are.
you, thank you.
Oh,
Who do you see?
You want a camera
And
here.
that's your page.
Oh, it should be upside down, you said. No, it's okay. Let's see. Start video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Girl's brother and sister-in-law. Hi, everyone.
Hi, you guys.
Beautiful.
Oh, here I am. Wait, can I make that go
Nico
up?
just came in here.
Oh,
Rainbow.
I'm gonna put
Can you
this
see me?
down.
If you want to see everybody, oh, you've got it going on
Mike.
already.
Okay, but I'm not in a good place here. I'm way down here.
Oh my God.
Judy, don't talk. Mute yourself if you're going to talk.
I heard you on here.
Yeah, I couldn't do doctor's appointment the other day. She had to call me. So I don't know what's.
Rachel.
Hi.
If you want to mute, you do that.
Hi,
If you want to do that, do mute. There you go.
There's
Oh, Connie.
Well, just
Connie.
see, I'm too low.
See next.
Oh, okay.
I'm way down here in the picture.
So if
I
you're
don't
not
need-
talking,
This is all I have. Go to Facebook.
Wait a minute. Let's do this.
Carol's on Facebook.
Hi,
I
Doug.
thought you had it all worked out. That's what I'm confused about. Wasn't it turned up on its side and everything?
No, I couldn't do that. Well,
Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
We're on another screen.
Hi, Carol. Andrew, say
Hi, guys.
hi, Sarah. Hi, Andrew. Rachel, hi.
Hi, Debbie.
Unmute yourself, though. This is how you do it, like this.
God, look at these beautiful.
Wow.
So many people.
Wow.
Right here.
Hi.
Over here, Randy. There's
Suzanne's got dark hair.
matter. Can I say hi?
Should we, a suggestion, should we all mute ourselves and then let Carol talk
Yes.
for a few minutes?
Yes, we should.
Yes.
And maybe she can kind of call on people and we can unmute like a few at a time.
Carol, do you know how to mute everyone?
Why?
but Carol doesn't need to do it.
Carol.
Okay, we'll do it. We'll mute ourselves.
Bring your cursor down to the bottom of the screen and the mute is in the bottom left-hand corner. And if you click that, you'll mute yourself.
Looks like a speaker.
And
I'm
then when
gonna
you
be driving.
unmute yourself, just click it again.
Is there someone who's the host?
Hi, Carol.
I am.
I just got off work, so I'm going to be driving for a minute while I listen.
Okay.
And I'm going to mute myself. I'll unmute when I get to somewhere.
Hi,
Carol.
Can I ask if anybody can hear me, Suzanne?
We can hear
Sure.
you.
We can hear you.
Thank you.
Carol, do you
Even
want
when
to
you're
talk to
muted,
us?
we
I'm going to
can hear
mute.
May I suggest that everyone mute yourself for the moment? And a couple of things. If you want to see the rest of the people, because we can't all fit onto one screen, you'll notice that at the right, on the right side in the middle of the screen, on the right corner, you'll see an arrow. And if you click the arrow, you will see the rest of the group. So you can go back and forth to see everyone.
And it says there are 99 people on the call, which is
100 now.
100.
Wow. Wow.
So that, and the other thing I wanted to say before we start is if anyone would like a copy of this, please send me your email under the chat and I will send it to you.
Sherry, are you
We're
recording
already
it then?
late.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Oh, Megan. Megan's on. Okay, so
Marianne Brennan.
is everybody muted?
No.
You're not.
I'm not muted.
No, I will in a second. I just want you.
Am I supposed to say something?
Yeah, why don't you say something and then we'll follow your lead.
Well, I'm overwhelmed by the support of everybody. I've been having a hard time accepting that Michael's gone, but he had such a huge influence on people. I can't believe it. And I don't think he would know either. So it's been gratifying to hear from all of you. You know, I met Michael in 1983, and I just fell in love with him instantly. It was so smart, so cute, so funny and warm. And we got married in 1991 on July 13th. We walked out of our back door into our backyard in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. And we played for our entrance, nothing like Here Comes the Bride. It was Bette Midler, You're My Favorite Waste of Time. And he's always been my favorite waste of time. And we've wasted a lot of time together, but we sure had some meaningful times. And he was it sounds trite, but he was my soulmate. He was my soulmate. And we thought we'd have more time together. And that's not to be. For those of you who don't know, he went in for a bone marrow transplant. He had the transplant. And when his immune system was totally destroyed, he developed a fungal infection of the brain that caused a brain bleed. And he had no immunity to fight back. So he, it was clear that he was never going to regain consciousness. And Mike and I were there, and we watched him die peacefully. So since then, I have been overwhelmed. I've received messages from you. I have not responded. I have been in hiding, and I'm still hiding in some ways, but I'm so grateful to Sherry and Monica who put this together, and all of you for sharing your memories of a remarkable human being, one of a kind. And I just want you to know that his legacy will live on through your memories of him. And my number one commitment is to finish his book about Aaron Shapiro, who challenged Henry Ford and won, got Henry Ford to apologize for his anti-Semitism. And that was my promise to Michael, that I'm going to finish the book. So I don't know what else I'm going to do. I really have no clue, but I'm going to honor Michael's legacy, and I'm going to carry on with that particular project. And I can't tell you all how much I appreciate your support, your love, especially in this time of COVID. And the one thing I would ask of each and every one of you, and most of you I know are already doing it, but Michael would want you to get involved, to make a difference, to vote, and to vote for you know who. And that's all I can say. So now I'd love to hear from all of you and just hear what Michael meant to you.
So Carol, just because everyone sees the screen differently, would you like me to call on people in the order they happen to be on my screen? Would you like to call on people?
I'd love it if you would, Sherry. You have more experience with this communication method than I.
Okay. So I'm going to start with Debbie Karnowski. I'm not sure who's with you.
Hey, can you hear us?
Yep.
Yes.
My husband Dan Karnowski is with me. It just made me here.
This is her computer, so it's her. We met Mike and Carol sometime in the 80s. We lived in Michigan on the other side of the Hammond Lake from them. So we were within walking distance of Mike and Carol. We were on the board. I was on the board, the HOA board with both of them. They moved to California, and we moved to California a few years later. And by happenstance, we again were within walking distance of Mike and Carol. And so we've seen them a lot for the last 35 or 40 years. We've wasted a lot of time with both Mike and Carol. We've spent a lot of Thanksgivings and Christmases at their house. They've always hosted all of the orphan Michiganders over the holidays, people who had nowhere else special to go, but it was special to go to Mike and Carol's. Really, Mike and Carol were just friends. I know a lot of you knew him through TV or entertainment or nuclear waste or something else, but we were just friends. And over the last several years, even during the pandemic, generally I would call Michael once a week or so just to catch up, see what he was doing, what I was doing. The last few weeks when we knew he was going to go in the hospital, we thought Carol was going to have to hang out over by, what's the name of that place?
City of Hope.
Arte,
City of Hope.
the City of Hope. And I offered to loan them a couple bicycles. And I kept encouraging Michael to go take a bike ride, get some exercise, and take Carol out for a bike ride. And he kept working on the bikes and working on the bikes. He never got around to actually riding the bike, but he spent a lot of time getting the bikes in great shape. So at this point, they have two bikes that are ready to go. So anybody that wants to go over to Carol's house and ride a bike with her,
With a mask.
there's an extra bike there, so feel free. Other than that, all I can say is, I'll miss Michael. He was a friend, and I know that, all of you will miss Michael. But as I say, he was a friend, and I'm sad that he's gone.
I have to add that when he says a friend, it's so much deeper than a casual friend. Everybody knows that. It's just such a close, really close relationship over so many years. And it's funny because they always welcome, whenever any of my relatives were in town, they always wanted to see them and welcome them. And I told Carol the other day that one of my sisters said, she called me when she learned about Michael's death. And she said, one of the things I'll always remember is the sparkle in his eye, and he always had a sparkle in his eye. And, that's the first thing, that stood out to her, and the main thing. He always welcoming, but sparkle in the eye, and sometimes a little mischievous sparkle in the eye, because he always had an interesting take on things and a big heart, to welcome everybody. So I can't go on, but just say really, really close friends, and we'll remain that way with Carol.
Thank you. Ron Diamond?
Sherry?
Yes?
This is Mike, Carol's brother. I'm receiving texts from people. Apparently the meeting room is full and there aren't enough chairs.
Okay.
Is 100 the limit?
100 is the limit, but I could ask Richard to come in here and share my screen. And if anyone else is together on separate computers, maybe they could do that as well.
Can you hear me,
my
Carol?
screen right now.
It's Ron Diamond. Can you hear me okay?
It's Ron's turn. There is room for two people at the moment. Here comes Joel Steingold and Joe Molina. Okay, there's still room for another person at the moment.
So Michael and I overlapped for 2 years at UCLA Film School, and we became very, very fast friends. And a relationship that I was not going to let expire at graduation because it was just too important. And I do very much remember first meeting you, Carol, when my Carol and I were coming through Detroit. Do you remember we met for lunch?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we were married yet. It was maybe 85 or something like that, or
Yeah.
and it was just it just seemed so right. You seemed like just the perfect person for him, unquestionably. And over the years, we saw one another not regularly, but irregularly. Michael would come to my home and Carol would come to my home for parties and gatherings, and always felt like family. And every time I would get together with Michael, I could say that, I don't know how many of you are lucky to have friends who, when you spend time with them, you feel rejuvenated, you feel filled up, like you're ready to go and conquer the world. That's how I felt with Michael. I really enjoyed every time we were together and just cherished each time. And I love the Aaron Shapiro Project. So if you need help, you can count on me. I will be there with you to help you realize that, because it was a project that Michael and I talked a lot about. And I think it's a really important subject and something that should be a movie one day. And
Yes.
it's really an extraordinary narrative. I was fortunate to see Michael, I think it was in February, maybe early March. I asked him if he wanted to go to a table read for The Simpsons, and he joined, where he met the cast, Julie Kavner and the other voice actors, and Matt Groening, and we sat and flipped the pages of the script as they were read by the cast, expecting to laugh when we thought something was funny, and to give the writers a sense of what was good. And Michael told me about being on the set of Batman as a child 50 years earlier with his father, and that was the last time he had been at 20th Century Fox, which I found very hard to believe. But I'm truly sad. I'm going to miss Michael, and I love Michael, and I love you, Carol, and I'm going to be there as long as you can tolerate.
Thank you. I'm going to take you up on the offer to help.
All of the above. You got it.
Thank you. Harrison?
Hi, did you call me?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, hi there. I'm Harrison Engel, and I'm so filled with love today, but so sad also to be here for this occasion. Michael was a wonderful, wonderful person and a wonderful friend. And we first met in the 1980s. We both were active with IDA, the International Documentary Association. And Michael and I got put in charge by the board of IDA to rewrite bylaws for the organization, which was growing and needed to reconceive the ground rules. Can you hear me? And so we worked together on that. We got to know each other, but and indeed we shared many, many stories and occasions over the years. Carol and Michael and I guess many of you all have a Detroit connection or a Michigan connection. I grew up in Detroit and not far from the General Motors building. And I want to share a little story. That Michael had told, related to me back in the 80s. In those days, Michael was the head of the film. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Michael was head of the film archive at General Motors. And as such, was in charge of all of the 16 millimeter films of historical footage from General Motors, television commercials, shots from the assembly line, product shots, all kinds of things. And around 1988, Michael Moore, who was a hungry, unknown filmmaker in those days, showed up at Michael's door and asked for some film of General Motors products. Michael Moore at that time was making his first rather hilarious and groundbreaking film, Roger and Me. And Michael Rose gave Michael Moore, as it turns out, hundreds and hundreds of feet of 16 millimeter footage that worked its way into that wonderful and hilarious movie about the chairman of the board of General Motors, Roger Smith, who was known at that time as one of the worst CEOs in America. So Michael gave Michael Moore all this footage. The film came out. It was a huge hit, critical raves, and word came down from Roger Smith's office. How in the heck did this footage from us get into this movie? And Michael Rose got called into his boss's office, and the boss demanded that Michael find out who the mole was within General Motors. And Michael swore to look into it and find out exactly how this had happened. Needless to say, he was never able to get to the bottom of that mystery. But within a few months, Roger Smith was gone, and General Motors had moved on to a much happier era. That's just one story of Michael's sweetly subversive side, and I always admired it. And indeed, he's still carrying on that today, getting to the bottom of Henry Ford's story, and so on and so on. Anyway, we send our love to you, Carol, and to all his friends and so on. It's someday maybe Michael and I, and we will meet for coffee or lunch in a heavenly setting.
Carol, I don't know if you recall, I've been trying to remember exactly when I met Michael, and of course that was through you because I knew you through work as in the earliest days, NPR. And I think actually the Michael Moore movie may have been how I connected more clearly with Mike Rose, because I also inadvertently was part of that film. Just a little bit of it since it came up. I knew Michael again from NPR up when he was still publishing a paper up in Florida. And he had been stonewalled by General Motors. So that's why he needed desperately footage from Michael Rose. But there came the famous incident where he finally confronted Roger at the Christmas party they do in the old GM building on West Grand Boulevard. And they would always have a choir come in, and then the chairman would speak, and Roger, of course, spoke in a squeaky little voice that was painful to the ear. Well, as I was walking in, I feel a tap on my shoulder, and there's Michael Moore trying to look incognito, which of course Michael is like this. It wasn't very easy. And he said, "They're not letting me in. Could you take my film crew in and pretend that they're working for you?" which I did. And somehow or another, at the very end of the whole event, Michael apparently found a way to sneak in through the back way through a restroom and got in and confronted Roger. But Mike Rose and I got to compare notes of how we both wound up making that movie possible.
Wonderful story.
So thank you. Just to be clear, because we're so many people, I'm just going to call on people in the order that you appear on my screen, because everyone's screen is different. So thank you, Paul. Jeff Cowell.
Who?
Jeff Cowell, or that's the computer you're at? Yes, there you go.
Hello. Actually, I'm Jennifer Kundak, and Jeff Cowell, my husband, is here as well. And I'll just simply say that we really are heartbroken, and just, Carol, we love you so much, and we just enjoyed, even though we didn't spend a lot of time with Michael, we especially enjoyed that time we shared when we had our little trip up the West Coast, and you had such generous hospitality, and we had such a grand evening with you and Mark Bertler and my son Michael too. So take good care of yourself, Carol. We love you a lot.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. M. Strawn?
Hello, it's Morgan here. I work with Michael.
Morgan.
Do you see him?
Hi, Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just shocked, really. I really don't have words. I work with Michael, unfortunately, very briefly, but we represent his footage for licensing, and sort of like what Harrison and Paul had shared, their sort of stories is he always had something like some footage or something, or some kind of story that a client would be interested in, and I would say, hey, where did you get that? Oh, I found it in a dumpster here, or I got it here, or I found it there. And it was, okay, that sounds good. And and he just taught me so much. It's just crazy about, I would have an interest in a topic that someone would ask me about. It was usually automotive related. And he would say, oh, did you know a story about this? And Henry Ford, that, and Hank the Deuce, and this, and he knew, and he, took money from NASA to race in Le Mans. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. It's just, I just learned so much from him. And, he had so many great stories, and I'll never forget them. Such fantastic memories, and he just taught me a lot, and meant a lot to me. So, thanks for including me, and Carol, we're here for you. And if you need us to keep you busy,
I'm going to need your help.
oh, for sure. You just let us know, and we'll do it. But I'm just no words. So I'm just so shocked. But
Thank you.
we're here, and speak to you soon.
Okay.
So it's what a gift to hear everybody's sharing. And I also just wanted to say that if you don't want to say something, then feel free to use the chat, and I will forward that over to Carol as well. So when the next person on my list is Yoga Tab 3 Plus. Do we know who that is? How about Lisa Drostova?
Lisa and Pearl.
Do you see her map there?
Yeah, Lisa Drostova. There she. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, honey. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Pearl. How
Nice.
are you guys?
Well, we're hurting for you.
A long time. We've known each other a very long time.
It really has been through a lot together. Good times, bad times. I'm sorry that it's this bad time. But you had really, I can't tell you how lucky that you were. I know how lucky that you were, that you were, and that we all were, that we knew Michael. He was a light in all of our lives.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I just thought of something that might be easier for folks. If you are going to write a chat, then under reaction on the bottom of the screen, you can see there's a thumbs up. Press that, and then we'll know to go on to the next person, okay? And the next is David Newman.
David.
You don't see him.
I don't see
Hi,
her.
Carol.
Hi, David.
Hi, Carol. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Diane's with me.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Diane.
How are you, honey?
I've been better.
I'm an old Detroiter, and I met Michael fairly soon after he got to Detroit. We used to hang out at a place called La Marmite, and hanging out there, Carol came by, and my cousin Annie introduced him to Michael. And the rest is history.
David, I can barely hear you.
There are so many stories about Michael, and different things we did together and things he told me about that I can't repeat. My favorite one is how he talked a friend of his into giving him a jet plane, Bombardier, for a documentary. So he took Carol and they flew around the western part of the country, going to Las Vegas and Seattle and Tucson, Arizona. And we had this thing with food and drink, and Carol's laugh in the background. So I'll let so many other stories, but
Thank
I'll let you go to the next person.
Thank you so much. Rachel?
Rachel.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Rachel.
I've known I've known Carol since I was a kid through my mom and the National Organization for Women, and I know there's other people here who are involved in that in Detroit and in Michigan. And one funny story that I remember, it has to do with Carol because that's who I knew first. When I was little, Carol would call. I must have been 10 or 11. She'd ask for my mom. I'd say, no, she's not here. May I take a message? She'd say, yes, just tell her Carol King called. And I would be like, oh my God, Carol King called, Mom. I was so tickled. I don't know if I ever, I always remember that. And anyway,
Thank you.
that's, thank you.
Monique?
Hello, Carol.
Hi, Monique.
I'm kind of a newcomer. Met Carol and Michael about 2.5 years ago. It was kind of, I call Kismet. It was at the theater, and it was a strange performance, strange in being they actually stopped the show. I'd never been in a show where they stopped the show. But we went to the after party afterwards, and we're sitting at this table, and that's where we actually met. We were invited by a mutual friend. That's where we met. And Carol and I started talking and laughing, right? Laughing. I love women who laugh with their mouth open. Mouth open, let's do this. And Michael was there, and I was looking, and his essence, first of all, Michael was like home base. You know, you were always able to be you. I didn't know this man. I know I'm a little to the left sometime, and not political. Well, politically, but that's not what I'm talking about. And he was so generous and so, somebody said mischievous. And we had opinions about the play, and some other people at the table had different opinions. So there was this kind of bouncing of knowing looks going around the tables for all the things that we couldn't say. So that's where we met, and then I got invited to the holiday parties. And Carol and I had gone out a couple of times, and I told her how much I loved her, because I knew I loved her because I lived in the Valley and they lived in Santa Monica, and I still wanted to see her. And when I came over for the parties, it was just probably the first time in Los Angeles since I left Indiana that, you know, Michael would be cooking and we'd be setting up and doing all this. And Michael just had this generosity of spirit and welcoming and funny and smart and very good looking. And I feel fortunate. I felt fortunate that I had the opportunity to spend some time with him, and I fell in love with him, and I fell in love with Carol, and I am here for you always.
Thank you, Monique. Thank you.
Thank you. Lorena? Lorena?
Hi, Carol.
Who is it?
Lorraine. Lori.
Hi. Oh, hello. There's my
the bunches.
The bunches. Yes.
You know, Carol, you brought Mike into our lives. I haven't been a part of the Bunch family for too long, but long enough to have known him. And he was with you all the time. You know, we love watching his Elvis video that he made. And, you know, like you said, he was truly your soulmate. You know, wherever you went, there was Michael. You know? And from all of us down here in San Diego, we just want you to know that we love you. We're with you. We're sending you all of our love. And
Love you, Carol.
we love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
You're the cool guy. He'll be missed.
Truly missed.
Yeah. He loved you guys. He always had fun when we went there. Always.
And he is now with Gloria and Tom, and
just as much fun.
You know, talking about all of us right now.
Yeah, I hope so.
Kibitzing with a martini or something.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely with a drink.
All right. We love you.
Love you.
We have to go. We have to pick up our little ones.
Oh, those darling kids. Give them a kiss for me.
I will. Love you.
Love you.
Thank you, guys. Susan Moiseev, I'm sorry if I murdered your name.
That's okay, I'm used to it. I'm Carol and I have been friends since the 70s.
Yeah.
And I was at the wedding that night when you walked out the back door. But I didn't know Michael that well until you moved. Because, you know, it was all girls. Right. And our women's stuff and our movement stuff and when you moved and you'd come in and I'd see you, I'd get to know Michael better. And of course, got to know him very well when I also took advantage of your hospitality in California. So I knew you a long time, just you, but for so long it's been Michael and Carol, and it's gonna be hard for all of us to adjust to you being just yourself. Though Michael will always be standing there in my mind with those piercing blue eyes and that Henry Ford story.
Thank you.
Love you, Carol. Miss you.
Love you, Susie.
Suzanne.
I see Richard Foos. Hello, Richard.
What? Might you like my new hair? My brother's
yeah.
It's like
I've got one going too, a skunk.
It's like a bald eagle, my brother says.
Lois G. Zypad.
Lois.
Yes,
Lois.
Carol. Oh my
God, Lois.
It took me forever to figure out how to get onto this. Never mind. Carol, there's nothing to say. There's no words. I don't have words. I wish I did. I wish I could say something wonderful and beautiful and comforting. I'm heartbroken. I didn't intend to make you cry at this moment. I'm absolutely heartbroken, and I love you, and I miss you, and I wish I could really put my arms around you. But you can't do that because of COVID, so.
Yeah. I love you too, Lois. Thank you for doing this. I'm glad you figured it out.
Yeah, well, it took a little while. I'm not so techy, but eventually.
I love you. I wish I could see your beautiful face.
Well, my beautiful face isn't so beautiful. Yeah, I saw you were all talking about, I don't know why you can't see me. I saw you were all heard you were talking about gray hair, and wait a minute. No, I can't do it.
All right. Sharon Manson.
Where's Sharon?
Because my picture's not up there, my camera's not working.
Oh, okay. Hi, Sharon.
So I don't think I had seen or talked to you since I was probably 16 until you and Michael were doing a trip back either to or from Detroit. And you stopped here for lunch.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time that I met him and realized that you'd found yourself a keeper.
Yeah.
And I only saw him a couple of times. The second was he came out from Mom's memorial service.
Yeah.
And he was just special. And it just didn't take very long to figure that out. So I miss you. I love you. I wish I were closer.
Thank you, Sharon. I do too. I love you.
Alex?
Yeah, Joe Hart and Linda Hart. Oh, I unmute.
We can hear you.
Joe and Linda Hart are Alex.
Hi.
Hi,
Hey,
Carol.
Hello.
I decided to forego the skunk and go straight to the chase.
It looks great. Looks really good. Yeah. Yeah. You look fabulous.
Well, Michael was my client. I gave him legal advice for quite a few years. And he was unique in that I can never remember him being upset at any time. Everything with great grace, equanimity, and humor. And I wish every client could have been like that. Just such a great person. We're so happy to have met him and feel privileged with that. And I know that you and he were just a perfect match for each other. And I was happy to be able to see that over the many times that we got together.
Thank you, Joe.
Joan Myerson?
Oh, hi. I was just trying to figure out how to get on, so I guess I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good. I was just thinking about, I met Michael through the Writers Guild. Lynn Goldfarb, who's also been trying to get on, was locked out because we just missed the 100. Oh, there you got on. You got my message. Good. We probably met him at the same time when we were co-chairing the Writers Guild Nonfiction Caucus, I think it was. They were trying to get all these nonfiction programs underneath the Guild's aegis. And he was just always a wonderful guy, smart, intelligent, and that impish grin. Yes, that's absolutely true. He always had corners of his mouth up. I was thinking he was always laughing inside at us. But it was always wonderful to meet you, Carol, because all the events, the Writers Guild events and the TV Academy events that we would see each other at. And he was just always fun and passionate about what he was doing, and always had some great project that he was working on and something really intelligent to say. And all I can say is that I was just so completely shocked. I didn't know that he was ill. And but meanwhile, right before we found out he was ill, he and I were having this back and forth about Mrs. America, which we're having fun with his opinions and my opinions because I loved it. And all I said was, because made me think we had so much to talk about, and that it was time that we got together for lunch and really had a good conversation between the two of us. And I said, Michael, we've got too much to talk about just on Facebook. Let's have lunch. And he said, absolutely. And then the next thing I knew was, he was at City of Hope. And so I'm just so sad that we never got to have our lunch. But as you say, maybe when it comes time, someplace up there, we'll be doing it if we can. And I really loved meeting you too, Carol, and hope that we'll see you again.
I hope so. Thank you. And on here is Brenda Fagan on. Joanne Perrin and Brenda Fagan. Brenda
just was yelling. She just has to leave for a meeting. She said that she just has all these memories of trying to get Michael to eat. When we would go out all together, for dinner before a movie or whatever, Michael, you have to eat. And it's very much Jewish mother kind of way. But, I think, Carol, that we knew each other from Detroit, right? And then it was actually Gloria Steinem who told me, did you know that Carole King has moved to California? And I said, no. And then somehow or another, I don't remember how, but we connected. And that was really when I got to know Michael. And what a privilege I had to be able to work with Michael on a couple different projects. What a fun guy to work with. And those of you who have all talked about working with him, it was just great. I mean, he and I would spend hours on the phone arguing about whether John DeLorean was a visionary or a con man. And we decided he was both. So, you know, I mean, it was just, I miss him. I just really miss him, and our times together. And Carol, the other thing is always running into you at every demonstration and every fundraiser. You know, I mean, I still plan on running into you, and we'll just have to, you know, hug each other and miss Michael together. And again, if there's anything that I can do in any way to help out with any of the projects or whatever that you've got going on, just let me know too. Love you. Brenda sends the same. She was just here and just had to leave. So you wanted to talk to Brenda, about being in Mrs. America.
Yeah.
Yes, we all argued about that too. Yeah, I was on Joan's side on that. So,
well, Brenda was depicted in Mrs. America. She worked with Ruth Bader Ginsburg at the ACLU project. So Brenda is a force, Joanne is, and so is Brenda. They're a power team, power couple.
Well, so are you and Michael, and now you've got to handle it all your own. So
yeah,
I
know.
Yeah.
Love you.
Thank you. Jennifer Munger?
Oh, Jennifer.
Hi, Carol. It's so good to see you. I'm looking forward to meeting up again as soon as we can. And I'll just be super brief. I didn't know you both for that long so far, but you've both made a huge impact on my life. And I was so impressed when Michael made the drive all the way out to Orange County to come to a party where the only person he had met was me, and that had been one time only. And it was such a delight. We had a wonderful time, and that led us to getting together, and me sharing with him all my favorite places in Milwaukee for when he took his trip there. And I am just so glad that our most recent memory was all of us sharing music together on the waterfront in Los Angeles. It was lovely. And I'm looking
Ricky Jones.
Pardon me?
Ricky Jones concert. Yeah.
Yes, that was so good. It was so good.
It was. Thank you, Jennifer.
I'll hold that in my heart forever. And if you need an editor, I'm at your service.
Thank you. Thank you.
Edwin?
Edwin.
Hello, Carol.
Hi, Edwin.
I love you.
Haven't seen you in a long time.
It's been too long, and I apologize, but I'm just so yeah, I can't even express how wonderful your friendship and Michael's friendship has been to me. I remember we met in Boston at one of the first history conferences, and you two were sitting just a couple of rows back in a bus going to one of the dinner things. And for some unknown reason, the two of you grasped onto this backward hillbilly from North Carolina and would not let me go. You're like, we're going to help you, because I was just beginning to get into the documentary world. And I still am puzzled why two brilliant people like you would want to pull me into your world, but you did, and you didn't let go. And I am so happy for that. Michael was one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. And the proof of that is that somehow he got you, Carol, to marry him and stay with him. You are one of the most brilliant people. I don't, anyway. But our biggest joke, and I'm jealous of Jennifer, who talked about him driving to Orange County to meet her. Yeah. Because the biggest joke between Michael and I was when we met in Boston, we were going, oh, we're neighbors. I was from Pasadena. He was in Santa Monica. I'm like, we should get together. But then when we got back to Southern California, it was like, no, that drive is too far. I'll see you in New York. Or we'll meet in Washington, D.C. That's easier than trying to drive across L.A.
That's right.
And, we were the quintessential L.A. people. One of the funniest stories is that we were at Real Screen conference one year, And both of us from Southern California had come to Real Screen, which was always held in January. And none of us thought to pack any kind of winter clothing. And so we show up in Washington, D.C., and it starts to snow, a blizzard, a freaking blizzard. And so we were going to this dinner, and we decided to walk, and the blizzard was coming down. And on the way, he and I are in our Southern California light jackets, and we meet David Gergen along the way.
Oh.
And he's got his winter garb on and an umbrella, and here are two Southern California idiots who don't know how to dress for the winter, soaked with wet snow, and he gave us the most unusual experience. Anyway, but we still said, well, I'll see you in New York, I'll see you in Washington, D.C. But your friendship has been so powerful to me and inspiring. Carol, I love you, and we will miss Michael tremendously.
I love you. Thank you, Edwin. Thank you.
Shay?
Shay.
Hi. I mostly knew Michael electronically because we only met in person very briefly. And I thought, I've known Carol forever, since the 70s, but I thought it would be weird to be a Facebook friend with Michael on my own. He made it comfortable from the beginning. He was such a good sport and such banter, and he could take and give a joke. But I do have to say that that man had absolutely no modesty whatsoever when it came to his vegetables. That he did.
Yes, that's true.
Such a braggart, such a braggart.
Well,
But
he knew
was-
people in Michigan would be terribly envious.
I was, and he got great fun and a lot of mileage out of Nana, Nana, Nana. So anyway, he will be dearly missed.
Thank you.
Yes.
Much love to you, Carol.
Thank you, Shay. Love you.
Eileen Berg?
Eileen.
Hi, darling. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I'm very sad that I hadn't seen Michael in a couple of years. He was an extraordinary human being. He was loving and kind and funny and smart, a unique individual. And I was honored to have met you through Melanie. And I love you. My arms are around you. And I am here for you. I want you to know that. When you need to get the hell out of the house, when you need to talk, when you need to just hear music, I'm here for you.
Thank you, Eileen.
Big hugs, many kisses.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before I welcome Bill Chapman, I wanted to first remind you that you're welcome to write a chat to Carol. And also keep in mind that because of her grieving, she might not really be in a place where she feels like reaching out. So reach out to her.
Thank you. Thank
Bill, please.
Billy.
Bill, you're Marcel Marceau. On the left hand, you will see on the left hand of your screen.
Yeah. Hi to everybody that I know and don't know. Anyway, this is not going to be easy, Carol. Anyway, I've known Carol for how many years? 53 years, I think. We met in Kalamazoo, and she's my person. You know that expression, your person. Anyway, Michael and I had a lot of highs, a lot of lows. I'll be real honest with you. He would admit it. But one night when we were sitting down in their apartment in Southfield. Am I screaming? I've got these earphones.
No, not at all. You're fine.
Okay. We were in their apartment in Southfield, and Michael sat me down, and the three of us were sitting there, and he said, "We've got something to tell you." And I knew she wasn't pregnant. I knew that for sure. But I said, "You're moving to California." And he said, and they looked at each other, "How did he know that?" And I said, "Because I'm leaving right after you." And I moved in, if they were September, I was October, around that time. Well, anyway, we went out one night to the mall on
Santa Monica Mall?
No, Pico Mall. What's that? The one there with the theaters and
The Westfield
Mall.
Yeah, exactly. I lived a block from there. You think I'd remember, near Melanie Chartoff. Well, anyway, we went to a shoe store, and we're walking around, and we love to go shopping for shoes. All three of us, actually. And I bought one, or Michael bought a pair of shoes, and we went up to the cashier, and the cashier was like 16, 17 years old, certainly not our contemporary. And he kept looking at us, each one of us. I don't know if you remember this, Carrie. You will when it's done.
I do.
And he kept saying, "Do I know you people?" And I said, "No." What's that? Somebody said, "Wait."
No. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. And he said, "Do I know you?" And I said, "I don't know how he could know me or us." And Carol said, "Seinfeld people." There was Elaine. She was Elaine. I was George. And Michael, normal Michael was Jerry Seinfeld. And it was the fun, and I get that a lot from people. We used to get that a lot out there.
Yeah.
It was, but now in Michigan they don't know Seinfeld as much.
I don't know if you can see you. I know you're on, because we're on with my phone. Oh, can you hear us? Hello?
Thank you. Yes, please, is that Marie? Please mute yourself, and we're going around in of my screen. So
I'm not
on there. Okay. Did I interrupt you, Bill? Were you finished? Okay.
You think I know how to do this already? Actually, I am done, but it's I wanted to do something fun, funny. So.
It's over.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you, babe.
Cut off the vision.
I love you.
Mary's iPad?
Mary's iPad. That's Mary Ann.
Okay.
I don't know if she's going to talk.
As well as Mary. Okay, Mary Ann, are you there?
Which one?
Well, Mary's iPad didn't respond, so I'm asking.
Oh, that was me.
Oh.
But I'm not really on anymore, am I?
Well, if you could turn one of those off so new people could come in. But if you want to wait till you can get on the video, we can come back to you.
Okay.
Thanks. Denise?
Denise.
Hi.
Where's Denise?
Hi.
Guys. Hi, Denise.
I don't have the years and the memories as many of you guys have, and so I don't need to tell you guys about Michael. But I do want to share this. I haven't had the opportunity to tell you, Carol, but I don't know what.
What?
The Sidners are back in town.
Yay.
Hello.
Please mute yourself if you're not speaking. Thank you.
But I don't know what day it was when he checked into the hospital, but I got a random hightail email from Michael. And it said, "Found more footage for your show."
Oh.
It was just so random. And I was like, what is this, a hightail? And so I guess he had commented on a post that I did on Facebook. And I was doing something, and there was like a whole conversation about research about, the subject of my show. And he said, "Found this, thought you could use it, can't wait to see it." And I sent him a message saying thank you. It was right on time, because I've been readying myself to pitch. And I was so excited to like put the video together to send to you guys. And I'm so sorry. I don't have the words, but you know that I'm here for you, whatever you need.
Thank you, Denise. I love that story. I love that.
But I mean, from the first time that I met him, he was just very welcoming, and you both were. And I was so nervous to meet you two because you guys were the oldest friends to Joel's mom. You guys were just the sweetest to me, and you guys made me feel at home. So.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you. Margaret? You're muted, Margaret. Can you unmute yourself?
Barb, I think that's you, Barb Lackner.
No, Margaret.
Margaret Gass, that's Barb and Margaret's.
Okay.
I can't hear you, Barb.
How about we come back to you? Anyone who got passed over, just put up your under reactions. If you want to not speak and instead write, then put a thumbs up. And if you haven't had a chance to be heard, then do the other thing, which is the hand going sideways. There's only 2 reaction choices. Thank you all. Let's see, Lisa Holly. Lisa Holly?
Lisa.
Muted.
I knew Michael from high school, and we didn't stay in touch, and then reconnected electronically. And I have yet to meet Carol. I'm looking forward to doing that, but we've been online so much, I feel I know her well. And Michael was smart and witty and kind and deeply committed to social justice. And it was an honor to know him. And I was so sad when I got the awful news and shocked. And Carol, I can't wait to meet you. And you're in my heart. Be strong.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
You're welcome.
William Colburn.
William.
Hi, Carol. Well, your man Michael was above and beyond, and he went above and beyond in everything he did. There's 2 things I hope I can share if there's time. I'm not sure how many people are aware that Michael helped save a really important historic district in Detroit called the East Ferry Avenue Historic District. I was involved with Preservation Wayne, got introduced to him, and we desperately needed to document the street and get the word out to the public about its importance. We had a couple $1,000. Michael took on the project. He connected us with everybody that he knew, got music composed for the documentary, got producers in, got film crews in, spent an enormous amount of time. And you generously loaned your house, I think, every weekend for an entire winter while we were editing this piece. And I had no clue about film work or documentaries, and you just patiently led me through the entire process. That documentary has since it was shown on public television in Detroit. It's been used in classrooms. It's still being used. I just recently had it transferred into a digital file, and I'm thinking that we can maybe later this fall or winter, particularly because that documentary that Michael did for us and with us documented really important African-American history, a white history of East Ferry, Detroit, that at this time I think is really important to bring back to the public awareness. And so I just want to thank you and thank him indescribably for all of that. But there's one other piece I wanted to add to this in the above and beyond. While we were that project, I told Michael that I had an old, like really early videotape that my sister had done of my grandparents, probably around 1970, while she was at the University of Michigan and working with someone who was just then experiencing introduction of video. And we had this old tape and no way to even see it. Michael used his connections at GM where I think he was still at GM Photographic, and pulled people together. They found old equipment that could transfer that 1970 videotape onto VHS at the time, and saved it. And suddenly, 20 years after my grandparents had died, my family was this tape of them talking an hour with my about my history. It was just extraordinary. And ironically, I came across that tape just a couple months ago, and just transferred and see it again. My mother's going to be celebrating her 100th birthday, and we plan to show it to her because she has not seen it in probably about 20 years.
Oh my God.
So we never could have been
It's gonna
pulling that off.
I mean, I'll get off if that's the case.
It's his legacy.
You can't have two of these on in the same room.
Well, I know.
Thank you, William.
Thank you. If you're not speaking, please do mute yourself. I'm sorry that we have so many folks who want to speak, so I'm just going to go in order as I see you on my screen. Suzanne, you're next.
Suzanne Kensington?
No, Suzanne, who's
Kensington.
I think we heard from Suzanne Kensington, no?
No, you said my name and somebody else started talking.
Gotcha. Okay, I remember that moment. Okay, please, Suzanne Kensington, and then Suzanne, who is sitting with on a black chair with yes, correct. So please, Suzanne and Suzanne.
Hi. Carol, I think I might be the only person here who never met Michael in person.
That may be true.
But how I got to know him was because I met you almost 30 years ago at University of Michigan Women in Leadership Project. And I was so taken aback by your passion and your commitment to social justice and equality and your stories about him. That's how I got to know him. And then came Facebook.
You're right.
And then I could connect again with you. And again, the stories about Michael. And when I got onto Facebook that morning, and I just read 2 words, Michael's gone. And I felt like I did know him. But what I did know was your passion and your love and your commitment to him. And that's something to be admired. So I just want to say thank you for introducing me to him. Thank you for being the person that you are. And even though you're in California and I'm still in Michigan, I feel very connected to you. Thank you. I love you. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Sue. I love you too. It's been so nice to reconnect with you.
It
I've
has.
enjoyed it.
You're a gift. Thank you.
So are you.
Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne. You're mute.
Diane?
Oh, Suzanne, you're muted at the bottom of your screen. You'll see it says.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so just a couple of memories, the adorable memories I have of our beloved Michael, because I won't go through all the amazing adjectives that are to be used about him. I first met Carol and Michael when, I don't know how many years ago, but I was taken there as a Turkey orphan, meaning I had nothing to do. I wasn't that, I hadn't been in California that long. And somebody took me to Thanksgiving at their house. And, I just I sat at the table and that was it. It took off from there. And basically, I was a Turkey orphan from then on. And, but it was never like I had to wait for an invitation. I was just a member of the gang from that moment on. Now, I do want to say our dear Michael is generous about everything, but not about cooking and recipes. He was at the counter like a centurion at the stove. Don't come near it, don't try and change the recipe. And I do remember that one of Michael's habits was you'd arrive at 4, but you wouldn't get served the turkey until 7, right? You know, I don't know why. Nobody exactly knew why, but every year, there were more and more appetizers, because for 3 years, you'd have to like munch on, for all those years, for 3 hours, you'd have to munch on appetizers and get stone drunk. So that's what I remember about how I came to know the two of them, and they just embraced me, which was so lovely. Okay, next, I'm a New Yorker, and the first time I heard, who has lived in LA a long time now, but the first time they told me where they were from, Detroit, I went, ooh, I don't know where, Detroit. I don't know anybody from Detroit. What goes on there? You know? I mean, I was like, okay, boring. Okay, since that moment, I have met so many Detroiters. I didn't know there were that. You know, they're friends. People who came from people who came to holiday dinners when they were visiting. Just extraordinary people, active people. And so now, in honor of Michael, I will have to make my first pilgrimage to Detroit and see what it's all about. Okay, next, cars. Every 3 years, lease a vehicle. That's me ever since I've been here. And of course, you know, I would go to Michael once we were friends. Okay, what should I do? What's it all about? Which car should I buy? You know, I pestered him forever. Why? Would lease a car and always lease the wrong one. And, you know, and end up hating it. And then I would go back to Michael and I would go, why didn't you convince me to get a different car? So that last time around, on the last car I was thinking, you know, I approached Michael, I was thinking, and it was like, don't bother me, right? Because I never took his advice anyway, but I took hours and hours of his time just to seek out his advice. And then I went off and did what I wanted, which was, and that ended up with a bad car. And lastly, I think one of the things that Michael liked about me the best, if I can put it that way, is he knew how much I adored Carol, right? And how I would always, and still do, pledge that love and my support to her, you know, to be counted on for anything, because she has always and would always do the same for me. There's not many people in life that you can trust that way. And I do trust her that way. And I think Michael recognized that, and it meant a lot to him. Okay, that's it.
Love you, Suzanne. Thank you.
Lynn Pepperman?
Lynn. Where is she?
She's sitting low in her chair.
Lynn Kupferman, sit up.
Or tilt your screen toward you. And can you unmute yourself? On the bottom left of your screen, you'll see a microphone. Yeah, that screen's good. Now, if you can unmute yourself, the bottom left.
Unmute. I don't know where we are, but we're here in bed. As we, this is where we eat our meals and do a lot of life. You know, we pretend we're Colette, and but we haven't known Carol and Michael that long. However, from the moment we met each of them separately and together under we met them both together in the room, but separately, because you meet people differently when you see them. And they are brilliant people, wonderful, delicious, lovely, fabulous people, and will always be remembered. And Rima and I have a special relationship with each of them separately and together, and it will go on. It will go on, and has been a sensational experience. It's sensational. I mean, one of those life-giving forces with which I will always remember Michael, and I will know Carol for the rest of, we will know Carol for the rest of our lives.
And if you ever need anything, why just mention it. But I have to warn you that I have no sense of direction.
And you're blind, Rima.
That was before she was blind. And if you need anything, Steve, just whistle.
Okay, thank you. I love you both.
We love you like crazy. I mean, with all our hearts. And 100 years ago, or maybe it was less than that, I was an editor at Doubleday. And if you want any and all and anything, language, I'm available.
Thank you. Thank you. I know Michael told me that. He shared with you and you gave him some good advice.
Michael was one of those guys who was divina.
Divina.
Yes, absolutely. And you indeed are the same.
Thank you.
Divina.
Love you.
Love you, my darling.
Love you.
Bye-bye, honey.
Thank you. Mike Wallman.
Right. Carol, you might remember us, my wife Joni and I, at the 40th Samo High reunion party at your house.
I do.
Michael and I have known each other since we were teenagers, growing up in Malibu. I remember when he moved out from Michigan and we were all going, oh, who is this guy? And we instantly fell in love with him, with his smile, his intelligence, and his humor. And a sense of adventure. We were all surfers. He wanted to be a surfer, so we just jumped into the ocean with him, and we all learned together and did lots of surf adventures, and then went to high school together. And he introduced me.
Skipped high school to go surfing.
Yeah, and so, and then you know, he introduced us to some amazing music, Chicago blues, and things, and we just all explored rock and roll and great music of the 60s. This is the mid to late 60s when we first met. And then my next memory of him after high school was he showed up at my first wife's and I's wedding at Mountain Presbyterian Church, and we had done the Kiss the Bride. We're walking down the aisle. They opened the doors into the foyer, and there's Michael Rose and our friend Daniel Kelly with a bag of avocados to congratulate us. So we went different directions, and I think he went off into the Army, and I went off to seminary, became a Presbyterian pastor, and I didn't know what happened to Michael until Facebook came along, and we connected there. And the old Malibu community lived on, and we just had a lot of shared memories over the years. I just want to say, Carol, the Lord, you know, promises to comfort us when we walk through these valleys, and lean into Him. And any of us, you can reach out to us, and we'd be there for you. You know that. We miss Michael. You know, what a great influence on our lives. May God bless you, my friend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Cindy Banzer.
Cindy Banzer.
Virtual hugs, dear.
Hello.
Hi, dear.
Are you safe? Are you safe? You're in Oregon.
We've had I'm at our beach house in Nesquin. We've had some damage. And as you know, Portland metropolitan area has been devastated in terms of of what's happened, but we're all resilient. Sorry, I'm here to talk about Michael and you, but thank you. And that is why Carol and Michael have been at the top of my list and people that I consider dear, dear friends. It matters not what generation, what decade of life we are in. We think that the people that are really important to us will always be there. And I want to thank Carol for the wake-up call on Michael's birthday to say that he was going to have a procedure and to please reach out to him. And I am so thankful that I had the opportunity to actually talk to him on his birthday. So thank you for suggesting that. I share the horror of seeing the post on Facebook that day. Only can think of you and think of all of the loss that all of us have experienced. I got to know Michael first through Collector Cars. And we spent a lot of time at Collector Cars, and coincidentally, I met his wife, Carol King. Once I found out that Carol King had an interest in legislative politics and political office, it was forever was going to be one of my soul sisters. I had the opportunity to serve my state in Oregon in elected office. So we always had tons to talk about, and no matter what critical thing was going on in the country, I would pick up Carol and say, okay, how do you see it from your part in Southern Oregon? So thanks to Michael and his involvement in Collector Cars, I got to know Carol. My story to share with you that goes back a long time ago is that my former husband, Keith Martin, and I started a magazine called Sports Car Market Magazine, and it is still a very influential publication in the collector car world. When Keith and I got a divorce, I offered to take on the magazine, and Michael said he would like to buy it, and we would run the magazine together. He went out and got financing for it, and we were probably within 5 minutes of actually being able to take over ownership of Sports Car Market until Keith decided that that probably wasn't a good idea. But I will always remember the fact that Michael stepped right up and said, we can do this, Cindy. We can do this together. And he put money where his mouth was in terms of coming up with an actual financial proposal and financing from the bank to be able to purchase the publication. This is typical of what Michael does in terms of his support for people, and particularly his support for Carol. He was always complimenting and telling us about the wonderful things that she was doing in Michigan and in women's leadership issues, and when she got awards, and it allowed us to share in that glory with her, even though we weren't there. And the support that he showed for Carol in the things and efforts that she took on, and his pride in her achievement really carries through to the fact that he took me seriously as a woman in the collector car publishing world, and was willing to go to put together something on a business level. The personal side of Carol and Michael have been that they've been wonderful hosts to me and to my daughter and to my current husband. And it's how the years go by so quickly. We don't have the time to spend with each other. I am, again, thankful that I had the chance to talk to Michael. And Carol, I do have a home in Palm Desert. I will reach out to you when I'm down there, and let's see if we can get together and spend some time drinking good wine.
That would be lovely, Cindy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Joanne? Oh, you spoke, I'm sorry. Diane Kane?
Diane.
Carol.
Hello.
I was blubbering when I read, and I went straight out the door of my apartment with no shoes on and no mask to Pamela Lane's apartment, who she happened to be home. And I was just holding up the phone going, "Did you hear?" And I couldn't believe that someone that wonderful had passed. I just couldn't believe that he was so good in the world and somebody so good. And you both together, I was feeling your pain. Michael makes us better people. To meet him and to listen to all of you talk about, all of you, so diverse, talk about how he went beyond and reached out and helped people in their endeavors and really saw it through and committed to it, makes me feel like I want to be a better person now too, to people who were reaching out to me. And I'm in my little, space here with COVID, with a lot of friends who are mad at me because I don't reach out enough. So, and you two were my go-to people for my political elections. I would just call Carol and say, "Okay, who should I vote for? Just tell me, because I don't have time to research everybody." And I would just trust that list, and I would go in there with my phone and just click it off, and that was that. I wish that he was going to be here in November, because I really do think that we're going to pull off a win. And you guys affect the community. And wherever he is right now, he's watching us. I feel your pain, and I love you, and I'm right in the neighborhood. And if you need anything, you guys sat there during a gig of mine where I was mortified that you showed up, and there were like you and 6 other people at the bar. I was mortified, but you sat there throughout the whole gig and questioned me about my song choices. And I was just, you guys made me feel so comfortable. You do that. You have that gift. We're with you.
Enjoyed the show.
If you need anything, we're here for you.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're very talented. It was not challenging for us to sing.
When I found out that Michael played drums, I was like, what? Like, I could have hired you? I mean, and then I never got to see him play. And then I found out the other day that he surfed. So, I mean, I came here today too to share my stories, but to also listen to all of you talk about your experiences with him, because I wanted to know more about him. And that song, Fire and Rain, I always thought I'd see your face again.
Yeah.
If you need anything, you call, okay? We're right here for you.
Thank
My
you.
heart's with
Diane.
you. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
Milena Schwartz.
Milena?
Maybe she's not. Oh, there she is. Great. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Hi.
Milena Tony, Abu Dhabi. Hello.
Hi. We almost zoning out. It's 4:30 a.m. here. But we're so happy to be a part of it, happy and to see you. But of course, we're so sad. We don't have any words. We're in shock, and we feel honored that we saw Michael in October for Mimi's wedding. It was amazing to have you guys, and we had so much fun. And Michael, showed the true side of filmmaking, and he made those wonderful videos, which we're gonna cherish. So we met about 20 years ago. I see Meg there, and I remember Meg brought us together in London, and it was at the beginning of my filmmaking career. And Michael and Carol became my mentors, and my family, actually, my California family. And, we had so much fun and so many summers and all kind of get-togethers and conferences all around the world together. And you were a big part of our lives. I'm so grateful to have you guys in my life, and we will never forget Michael. He's an amazing, talented, gifted, kind, and an amazing man. And I'm so grateful for you to take care of Tony. As you remember, when he had his internship in Hollywood, you guys took him, and Michael became Tony's mentor. So now I think, Tony should be grateful for his career to Michael and you as well. So I hope he's gonna say a couple of lines.
Yeah, I have to give it to him. He was instrumental, in helping me solidify my ambitions and the career path I went down. I mean, I remember him fondly as being so happy, so full of energy, so optimistic. And he really was the one that told me to take risks. And as he said all the time, he said 90% of success is just showing up.
That's right.
But he always made me laugh, whether it's, ridiculous stories of him surfing, his shenanigans in high school, his phenomenal high school football career, or when he described his utter hatred towards the squirrels that were eating his gracious sunflowers. I remember that very much so. Those are some of the healthiest sunflowers I've ever seen in my life. So it's funny to see him go off on them. But he really was an incredible individual. And we'll miss him, but we'll never forget him. And as you may know, no matter where we are in the world, we always send our love.
Thank you, you guys.
Yeah, we're with you. You can count on us, and we'll come and see you first chance we get in all this mess. So please hold on, and we love you so much.
So much.
Thank you. Thank you. And now you mentor someone too. Pay it forward.
Of course. Absolutely.
You, Marcia?
Hello, I'm Marcia Philpott, and I am a Facebook friend. Hello, my dear.
Hello.
And I just wanted to come in and pop in and put my arms around you. You know that I know where you're at.
I know.
When I saw I'm gone, he's gone, it just threw me back to when I had to say those words, and that's the only way I could say it. He's gone.
Yeah.
And so as a widow too, I really can identify with you. I have to say this, as a Facebook friend, I never really met him. And honestly, I don't know if I met you. It seems like I did.
I think many years ago. When you were in the labor movement.
Yes, yes. And probably maybe through Frank Joyce, maybe. I'm not sure. And but anyway, I remember on Facebook after becoming acquainted with you, and then seeing your husband on Facebook, and he was so handsome, like a movie star.
Yeah.
And it was just riveting. I'd be scrolling down, looking at pictures of him, He was so handsome, but then finding out what a man of substance he was, on top of being so beautiful, to see that, that was just astonishing to me. And then on top of that, to find out that the two of you were such socially conscious people, such allies into the movement, into our movement. And so that has been just very gratifying to see you two as partners. And I just wanted to give you my my love and my hugs.
Thank you, Marcia. I really, really appreciate it. Love you.
Love you too.
Thank you. Thank you. He was handsome. He was handsome.
Oh, yes. Oh, God, yes.
Mimi?
Yes, hi. Hi, Carol. I first met Michael and Carol and Bill Chapman all at the same time. through a mutual friend, and we went to a movie and out to dinner afterwards, and I have no idea what the movie was, and I've long since forgotten it, but 25 years later, I'm still just value you so much for your friendship. And I worked for Michael and Carol on a few projects over the years, and of course the highlight was the Elvis documentary.
That's right. Yeah.
That project was just pure joy to work on, and I'd come from production companies where there was a lot of screaming, and there was no screaming, and it was just so lovely with Carol and you and Michael and Gary and Stacy, and I'd never really felt that sense of a family, you know, working with a family, and it really felt like that. And I remember Michael would just come out into our office every once in a while and just kind of look around and go, "This is so nice. Like, yes, it should be. This is right. Everybody, we're just all like working together, and everyone's so nice, and it's great." And I was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what it should be like."
Mm-hmm.
That's really rare. And and then of course the trip to the Tupelo Film Festival with was so much fun, and it was so nice to be, you know, to become friends with you and with David too, and that you welcomed us as friends, and I can't think about Michael though, Carol, without thinking of you, and the two of you were really inspiring. And I'm sorry, just the way you loved and respected each other so much, and your activism inspired me so much, and just your ability to, both of you, to just enjoy life and just grab it. And I thank you so much for that. And also I would love to do whatever I can on your projects, anything that tarnishes the image of that rat bastard Henry Ford, I'm in.
Thank you, Mimi. Nice to see you, David.
Dave Berman.
Hi, Carol.
Hello,
Hi, Carol.
Jessica.
Oh, my goodness. I think we met over a decade ago back here on the East Coast when you were in a history conference, and we ended up representing your footage. We've become, as far as I'm concerned, you've become dearer friends than any kind of a business relationship. You guys have always moved me. Michael and I would have long conversations. Every time we spoke, it was something new. I mean, I thought I knew so many stories, but just listening here today, it's amazing how much I didn't know and how much more he was, and the two of you, you know, I mean, you and I have spoken at great length, but I adore you both, and I feel robbed. You know, I think we all feel robbed. It's we've lost somebody very special, and loss is tough, and I've been there too. And as we'll talk, you wake yourself up, and you know, you move forward, and you figure out how to go on. But there's so much wonderfulness of him, and so many great stories, and I think you really have incredible support, and how lucky you are, near and far, you know. I always regretted that we weren't closer, because I really wanted to be so much closer to you guys. I respected and loved you both, and I really miss him, and I would have loved to have shared garden. I love gardening too, and I always like, how did you do that? It's so great, you know. But again, I miss him. We all miss him. Love you, and stand on our shoulders, you know.
I plan on it.
I think everybody is really here to support you.
Thank you, Jessica.
And we feel your loss big time. You
Thank
know,
you.
a loss for all of us. We'll talk soon. I love you.
Love you too. Thanks.
Thank you. Geraldine.
Geraldine Barons? Is it
Geraldine,
Geraldine?
you're muted.
Okay, now you can hear me.
Yep.
There she is. Hi,
Here I am, and there's Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Hi.
Hi. We're both sad, sad, sad. And I keep thinking that Michael and Phil missed an opportunity at some point in their careers of having their only produced show of two guys talking about films, because they were the funniest two guys ever. And the wit and the banter and all that should have been recorded if we had been smart enough in those days. But, you know, Siskel and Ebert, nah, nothing, never nothing, no. But we are so sad, and we've known him since you met him, and he brought you a rose when you first met him. And we love you. And I think we need more slumber parties with the old Now group, and more time to just be able to talk to you. And we'll miss him forever. Bill.
I'd like the record to show that neither Michael or I were ever invited to the slumber party. I think about his sense of humor and listening to a number of people speak. That came through over and over again. One of the funniest things I remember was simply driving north, the four of us, and I made some joke about linoleum. I have no idea what that was, but we laughed for a couple of days about linoleum.
We did.
It's so important, this sense of humor. I shall remember him well.
We love you, you know we do. And we'll just be with you when we can.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too, honey.
Thank you. Deb Pollock.
Oh, Deb.
Hey, Carol.
Hello. Hello.
I'm probably one of the few people that are here from the car industry. It seems like you've got so many personal close friends that are on this. I feel a portion of me looking inside somebody else's world, and I apologize for that. But I want to say that I first met Carol and Michael together. It was probably like 2003 or 2004 when I first started working with Ferrari. And I had invited Michael to come on a trip we were doing and to work on his Great Cars series and to do some filming. And he said to me, can I bring a teammate with me? And I said, sure. And I hadn't met them before, and they both had different names. So I had no idea what close teammates they were. And I enjoyed them both tremendously from that first meeting, that it just inspired me to want to be a personal friend. And I remember those few days we spent together because Michael was so adorable and enthusiastic and playful. And at the end of the trip, I said to him, you know, that gal that you brought along is just so great. I really think you guys have such a wonderful connection. I would love to see the two of you, you know, kind of hit it off. And he said, you know, I'm going to think about that. I'm going to seriously think about that. And then, of course, once I got home and found out more, I realized what a fool I was that you had been married for so long. But it was a pleasure to just keep in touch with you, because the fact that he was a car guy had absolutely nothing to do with the amount of knowledge and interest base that he had in so many other things that over the years I learned from him. And all of it had nothing to do with cars. And for that, I feel very blessed and gifted. And unfortunately, but fortunately for Facebook, you know, it really allows us to maintain relationships and friendships. And that was one that I've been able to continue with both of you and with Michael too, especially because listening to his perceptions on so many different things allowed me to become so much smarter in areas that I knew so little about before. And I cherish that and I appreciate it. And I was so shocked by the news because I didn't know that he was sick. And when he first went into City of Hope, I was, of course, praying and caring for him. And then to have the shock of the rest. And I've known so many people, Carol, in the car industry that, of course, I care about, but you guys have just touched my heart in so many ways that I just really wanted to sit on this and be a part of it.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Just know that I care, and I know that you and I will continue to be friends as we have been, and hopefully more. So please just take good care.
I will. Thank you very much. We really enjoyed that trip.
It was a fun memory.
Driving a Ferrari. That's the one of the thrills of my life.
Yeah.
Thank
you. You got to live with the real thrill of your life, and that's the most important part. So take good care.
I will. Thank you, Deb. Thank you.
Meg? Valeria? Meg.
Hi, Carol. Greetings from the East Coast.
Hi. How are you, Meg?
I'm doing well. Not horribly well at this point after hearing the news, but other than that, well. What does one say? Michael, Carol, Carol, Michael. It was just one word, so I'm going to have to, it's going to take a while for us to all adjust to calling out just your name, but the Michael will always be there in our hearts. You both were part of the start of U.S. independence, and we had some wonderful, crazy times. Several of the original group were here on the call, sending their love and support, and too many stories to tell at this point. We know what they are, and all I have to say to several people is remember the flashing blue and red lights and saving the American population that was at MIPCOM. For those that don't know, that was after 9/11, and we were in Cannes, and we had started to bomb, and a lot of people were fleeing Cannes to get home, and U.S. independence devised an escape route, and Michael volunteered to take charge of the sea route because he had been a surfer, so he would know what to do. So he was put in charge of getting all of the Americans out by sea, and Diana Ingram and I were in charge of getting them over the mountains, probably singing "Climb Every Mountain" as we did it, because we knew nothing about how to get over the mountains. That was just one of the many wonderful times we had together when we would take our breaks after the MIPS and the MIPCOMs and the history conferences and the London markets. And come east, my dear. The colors are starting to change. It's going to be beautiful. And the East Coast Ocean is a wonderful balm to your soul. And I would love to have you here.
It'll have to be a little warmer.
Oh, don't be so spleeny. We'll give you sweaters.
I love you, Meg.
Love you too, Carol.
Thank you.
Thank you. Margot.
Margot. Where's Margot?
You're muted, Margot. Can you unmute your mic? It's on the bottom. There you go.
There we go.
Great.
Carol, I'm just devastated for you, as is Carol. Carol had that is to say. What can I say? I'm so frustrating to be here in Florida and you to be in California, and not to be able to say this directly, but just so love you. You know, a lot has been said about Michael, but I was there at the dawn of creation. I am one of Carol's old slumber party friends and now activists who saw the relationship develop. And I gotta say, Carol's friends are probably going to embarrass her now. Would have their periodic talks behind your back, but who on earth, what man in the world was going to be up to you? Because I've got to explain Carol's role in the feminist movement in Newfoundland, or in Michigan. I'm saying Newfoundland because I'm from Newfoundland originally. I've been yearning to get home through this whole COVID crisis.
Yes.
So forgive the Freudian slip. But Carol was just the most incredible networker, and in many ways was at the center of the feminist movement in Michigan. She was the president of Michigan now, but that doesn't even begin to capture her importance. She knew everyone in the labor movement, in the civil rights movement, in the feminist movement, on and on and on I could go. And this is pre-social media. So Carol's Rolodex assumed a huge importance to political organizing in Michigan, to the extent that when her car was stolen from under her nose in front of the Detroit post office, our first questions to her were, where's the Rolodex? It wasn't how horrible or anything else. So the other thing about Carol is she had the most fantastic visions for actions that galvanized media attention. But there was one that went awry when she was starring as the corpse, lying in a coffin in a pro-choice rally that was then attacked by neo-Nazis. And Carol heard the commotion, and she rather undermined the footage for ABC because she sat up in the coffin, which kind of destroyed the effect. But at any rate, because Carol is such a brilliant and charming and articulate and committed person to human rights, we all wonder, where on earth is she going to find the prince that's up to her? And then she very unexpectedly went to a restaurant and struck up, as Carol does, because she's like the Pied Piper, a conversation with this man with blue eyes. And that was the beginning of it. So then she began to show him off to her friends. But she had a very, very, very busy schedule. And she and I, this was very close after the relationship began, were scheduled to meet in another restaurant to talk about organizing wait staff who were being screwed over by the latest Reagan, I guess it was, regulation. And she took Michael along, and there was her match. Somebody charming, somebody articulate. What would have been a very grim evening of organizing just turned into great fun, but we also got a lot done. And really, you've been soulmates. And I hope, Carol, I know that in the midst of this kind of devastation, that you have so many memories of each other, so many fond memories, and so many years together. It should have been more, but I really hope those console you as long as, and also the love of your many, many friends.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I'd like to say, Carol, that
I can't hear you, Carol.
the courage that enabled you to rise up from that coffin in the midst of the rally was the courage that you had to display, you know, in the final moments. And you're a strong woman. And, you know, we just hold you. I'm giving you a Lebanese hug right now. A big one. But, you know, just know that we're here for you. And I wish we could come and see you. And we always wanted to get to LA. We don't know how we missed that, but we love you. And, you know, you've got a lot of love among a lot of people. And your brother, Mike, I want to shout out to him to say thanks for being there too in that difficult moment. Hi, Mike.
Thank you.
And keeping us posted. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I love you guys. I
We
hope
love
to
you.
see you soon. I miss you very much.
Yeah, you're going to have to put on a wool coat and come visit us in gorgeous Newfoundland too next summer.
Okay. Okay.
Ruta?
Ruta.
Hello.
Hi, Ruta. How
How
are
are you? Can you, am I there?
Yes, you are. I see
Okay.
you.
Huggy, huggy. Love you so much, Carol.
Thank you.
I met Michael, everyone at UCLA 42 years ago in a Project One class, which was basically the make it or break it class for all entering film students. And really got to know everybody because we spent like 24 hours a day in this pit trying to, bust our asses off to make our first project, which Michael did, about the nuclear reactors. And I got to know Michael very well. He was such a Renaissance man. If I had to cast a movie, Michael Douglas would play him for sure. I mean, he did, surfing, he did gardening, he was intelligent, he was sexy, he was everything, but most of all, he was so brilliant politically. He had already worked on a radio show for KPFK. And I turned around, I remember I said, Michael, what are you doing in film school? You're already doing everything in real life. Why are you here? And he just kind of shrugged, and it was just an experience he wanted, and he went and he took the best of it. And then I think he went to Detroit afterwards, and we didn't see each other for a long time, but thank God for Facebook, because it does bring you together. And even though we live in LA, it is a hassle. He's in Santa Monica, I'm in Calabasas, and it's like, oh God, we have to deal with the fucking 405. So, we were in sync politically, and I think that we attended a few events through one of my mentors, Lila Garrett, who was also an activist and had her own talk show on KPFK. So we kept in touch. And then very recently, Carol, Michael posted an interest in doing a project about the California missions. Okay. And I made a comment and I said, this has always been a passion of mine. This has been a big, injustice. I want to work with you on this, Michael. And then this was like, so shocking, because you always make comments on Facebook, and then the phone rang and it was Michael. And he called out to me and he said, Ruta, he goes, I would love to work with you on this project. So we had this fantastic phone call for about an hour, and I was shocked because his voice was so frail. I was taken aback. I had no idea how sick he was, but I felt encouraged by his spirit. And I said, I'm going to say prayers for you, Michael. I'm with you all the way. And I felt like that was the best gift. He reached out, and in his own way, it was a goodbye. But Michael would love this whole concept of seeing everybody and talking, and it's a documentary in the making, and he would love to edit it. So you're going to have to do it for him. But you know what? This is such a fantastic experience. I'm so glad I was able to hang in there and be a part of it. I love you so much.
Thank you, Ruta. That means a lot to me. And I have the files on the mission.
All right, good. Well, after the Ford one, maybe we can work on that one, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Love you. Thank you.
Marge? You're muted.
It's actually Pamela. My phone's name is Marge.
Oh, well, hello to your phone.
And yeah, Marge 8 is actually, because this is the 8th Marge. So I had to be on my phone because I was just leaving work at 4. So I drove listening to all of this home, and so I could be a part of it this whole time. And, but I'm Pamela. So Carol and I know each other from 22 or 23 years ago, working on this really crazy International Women's Day thing, this this debacle.
Yeah.
But the wonderful thing that came from that was Carol, you know, for me and in my life, Carol has been and just amazing presence and a rock. And I just love her so much. And Michael, you know, it was just like the toy surprise, you know, at the bottom of those Cracker Jack box, you know, it's like this amazing like gift that you know, it just came with the package. It was like, this is so awesome. Just, you know, the best humans ever. And I think all of the people that have already spoken have, you know, testified to just the amazing human that Michael was and the amazing human that Carol still is. And you know, I know a lot about death. I work in the death business, and I believe that the veil between life and death is very thin, and that some bonds cannot be broken. And I really believe that Carol and Michael just goes on. Unfortunately for you, you can't still be in his physical presence. And that's going to be terribly, terribly difficult. But he will always be with you. I just believe you have one of those bonds that is unbreakable. And as you move forward in your life, you'll always feel that, and you'll always know that, and someday that connection will be reunited. You know, all I can say is anything that you need, you know, I'm like right here. I'm sending you a giant bear hug. If it wasn't, I would walk over there and give you this giant bear hug if it wasn't for the you know, COVID. And you know what? I do have a lot of PPE, so I can't. I know how to mask up for that hug. So
Yeah.
So I still offer that. But yeah, Carol, you have always been there for me. And you know, ever since I've known you, and so I just anything that I can do for you. And you know, by the way, I'm a damn fine editor going back previous career. So I noticed you have a few offers, but keep me in mind for that. Anything I can do. But yeah, it's just, you know, I celebrate your great love. I celebrate the inspiration that you and Michael have been to all of us and to everyone who's not here, you know, who just the masses who couldn't be here, but who have been touched so much by Michael's life and by your life and by the joining of your two lives together and the force of nature that you two have been and that you will continue to be. And I look forward to being a part of that in any possible way. And I love you.
I love you too, Pamela. Thank you. Thank you.
Timothy?
Hi, Carol.
Oh, there's two Timothys
Hi,
here. I'm
Tim.
sorry.
Sorry, Timothy Words.
Hi, Carol. How are you?
I've been better.
Been better, yeah. So I'm a relative newcomer. I met Michael 10 or 11 years ago when he was a participant in the Writers Guild Foundation's Military Veterans Writing Program, and I was a volunteer mentor teacher. And just to acknowledge for a moment that Michael served the United States Army and he was proud to be a veteran. And we were involved in a veterans arts organization and that did and does good work. I was thrilled to be a part of the Thanksgiving and Christmas parties. You know, wonderful, wonderful time every year, twice a year, over the years. And I appreciate greatly the two of you opening up your lives to me and the time that we spent together. especially at having lunch at, oh
The
God, it's out of
Spitfire.
business. At the Spitfire Grill at the Santa Monica Airport. So I miss Michael already. I certainly miss, you know, the company that both of you gave, and this COVID thing is, you know, put a kibosh on everything over the last 6 months or so. But moving forward, if there's anything I can do to help move your projects along, don't hesitate to ask, and I will reach out to you in a little while, and we'll find another lunch place. So since they went out of business, so I send you my love and wish you all the best. So
Thank you, Tim.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you. Michael, you meant so much to Michael. And me. I'm grateful you're in our lives. You were in our lives. You're still
Thank
in
you
mine.
very much. Thank you. I feel the same way. Grateful that you are a part of my life and will continue to be so for a long, long time. As well, the memory of Michael continue to be a part of my life. He was a generous person in both spirit and heart. So
Yes.
I'll see you down the road soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Love you, Tim. Thanks.
Love you.
Monica.
Monica.
Hi, Carol.
Hello,
This has been
Monica.
so wonderful hearing all these stories and my Michigan Now friends, Margot and Jerry, and it's so great to see everybody. I don't want to take a lot of time, but Carol and I absolutely go back a long way to the late 1970s when I joined Michigan Now, and I followed Carol and Margot as president of Michigan Now in the early 80s, and we did a lot of rabble rousing together and a lot of marching and some slumber parties. I was there for a few of those. In fact, I have a memory of walking down the stairs the next morning after one of these parties, and Michael said, "You clean up really well." And I just remember laughing and smiling. He said such a great sense of humor. I'm 3,000 miles away in North Carolina, and Carol, I just wish I could wrap my arms around you. I'm so sorry we're so far apart in terms of miles, but you know, I've been thinking about you every day. My heart's been breaking for you. I don't even know where to begin with memories. Lots of wonderful memories of Michael through the years. I think he had a love-hate relationship with Detroit. That was my memory going back.
Yeah.
He didn't like the weather. I remember that. And I remember he had that rental car from GM that he had stolen out of the parking lot. Do you remember that, Carol? Or maybe he had two of them stolen. Yeah. When we, at some point, he told the story so often we had to just laugh about it. But every time I've been able to get out to California on business or for any other reason, I've always called Carol and said, "Can I please come and spend the night and see you guys?" And Carol, remember the last time I was there, we got to see RBG together, the documentary, and it was so fun because with the two of you having your documentary film background, I loved when the credits rolled, you knew everybody who had made, you know, the documentary, and I got such a kick out of that. And then Michael was so proud of that garden. You know, we walked to the garden that morning and picked veggies and flowers, and he made us a nice dinner that night. And there are just so many wonderful memories of the two of you. I love you both so much. The earlier speaker, Marge 8, I don't think that's her real name, made the comment about, you know, having experience with death. I assume maybe she works in the hospice field or something.
She does.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but Carol, you know, I lost John in 2016, and I was at Carol's wedding to Michael, and she was at my wedding so many years ago. We've known each other more than 40 years. And Carol, I would just say, take whatever time you need to grieve, you know, be kind to yourself, be gentle, cry as much as you need for as long as you need to. And, you know, at some point you won't cry all day long. I think you'll be maybe a little bit more at peace. You know, that time will come, but, you know, in the meantime, just just be very kind and patient with yourself. Grieving is a slow process, and everybody does it differently, but you are so strong and so resilient. And you have so many people who love you, and you're going to get through this. Okay. I know you are. So, but we all loved Michael, very special person, so talented, so loving, so much fun. We're going to hold him in our hearts forever.
Thank you, Mike. Love you. Thank you.
Linda Moon.
Linda.
There we go.
Hi,
Okay.
Linda.
I've just recently gotten to know the two of you in the last few years. I want to give you a big, big hug. This was a big shock, as it was to all of us. But I just keep thinking that. And by the way, I got to know you and Michael through your project of trying to do a documentary and then a book about my grandfather, Aaron Sapiro. And when you're thinking about your family, it's just your family. It's just your grandfather. It's not a big deal. And and here these people came and made my grandfather a big deal, for asking questions that I had to go search for answers for and information. And that was really invaluable. You gave a gift to me, and I think I told you in my letter, whether the book ever gets published or not, what you drew out, and in terms of my grandfather's spirit and his history was invaluable to all of us. And the cherry on the top was that I got to get to know the two of you, and we'll always be friends. And I'm here, and I want to get together with you when it's possible to do so, and when you're feeling a little better, and if things have calmed down. So anyway, I'll look forward to seeing you soon. And and I will always remember Michael dearly. So, and thank you for you and Michael. I'm so grateful to have had you in my life.
Thank you, Linda. And that book will get published. We have a publisher. It will be published. I love you.
We'll talk.
Thank you. Thank you.
Liz.
Okay, sorry. Hi, Aunt Carol.
Hi, sweetie.
First of all, I'm just very grateful. I'm learning a lot about Uncle Michael, things I didn't know. It's been really, I'm very grateful for it. Second, and I know you know this, but anytime you talk to him, you were the most important person in that room, no matter what was going on around, no matter what you were talking about. You were always the most important thing. He listened to you. If he didn't know something, what you were discussing, he would call you back. He would send another email. He always followed through. He was, that is something that I will always remember about him. And our long drive out to LA, when we made that long drive in 4 days, and we got stuck in Winslow, Arizona. I will never forget that, when that U-Haul trailer got a flat tire. But also too, when his I Need the Earth and the Earth Needs Me came out many years ago, it was shown in my elementary school, so I think I just aged myself. But I thought it was really cool. That's my uncle. He wasn't my uncle at the time, but I knew who did that.
Yeah.
But most important, he loved you. And if there was anything that I knew, he loved you. So I love you, and I'm here for you.
Love you, sweetie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Liz.
Andrew Yarrow.
Andrew. Andy.
Andrew. We're not hearing you.
Andy, you need to turn the mic on.
No, maybe turn up the volume on your computer itself.
And then say something.
Hmm. How about we come back? We'll come back to you, okay? Patrick?
Patrick.
Hey, Aunt Carol.
Hey, hi, honey. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I wish we were all doing a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say, so I was thinking about how you always told me I was going to move out to California, and you were right for a year. And so ended up getting out there, and just you were the only people we knew out there, and just how welcoming and warm you guys always were. And a lot of people are talking about the garden and how Uncle Mike always have those conversations, just sitting around the kitchen, and the conversations would always last for hours and hours. And just like Liz said, he just always knew how to make you feel important. And one of the things, I think I shared this with you, but I sent Uncle Michael a Facebook message a couple of weeks ago when he was in the hospital. And in his reply, he's going through such a hard time, and he just said he had a way of making it not about him, and that was all I wanted to talk about, was how he was doing. And he just said to me, I'm so proud of what you're doing, and he recognized something big in my life that had just gone on, and that was just who he always was he was going to make you the important one in the conversation. And I just remember that. And then I just always loved how you two loved each other, and how he made sacrifices for you when you were running for office and we were going door to door, and he put his dreams on hold for a little bit, and then you did the same thing for him. And then you said, you let me do my thing in Michigan, and now let's go do your thing. And you guys just always made each other a priority. And I just always loved just your guys' relationship, the way you cared about everybody in your lives, and the way you were always so welcoming.
Yourself right now. Andrew, could you please mute yourself?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Just got
Sorry.
back on. Apologize.
But I just loved the way that you guys loved each other, and the way that you were always so welcoming to us. And I always cherish the times that we had. People are talking about sleepovers, but they don't know about those real sleepovers where we used to raid the fridge. And so I remember those same sleepovers a little bit differently. So I love you.
You bought all the candy in the store.
You know it.
Got all the candy in the store.
And you never said no. And you never said no. So
What?
but I love you, and I feel just so sad that Uncle Michael's gone, and I just wish I could be there with you right now.
Thank you, Patrick. I love you.
Love you too.
Hello, Hannah.
Hey there.
Love you guys.
I'll
Come
piggyback
back
a
to
little bit.
California.
We will.
Okay.
Wanted to piggyback on a word I've been hearing a lot from everyone is welcoming and hospitality, and that was my first impression and a lasting impression. Pat and I had gone on a 3-week road trip and ended up in California and made a pit stop at your place, and You guys welcomed us, you fed us, we went in the pool. And over the course of the 3 months that we were there, you showed us around, had us over for dinner, potluck style, and introduced us to some of your friends. And just very grateful for that time and family when we were away from family, and just grateful that I had those memories.
Thank you. They're beautiful memories. Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you.
Gary? Gary Merriam? Gary?
Gary?
There he is.
Hi, Carol.
Hey, Gary. How are you?
I've been listening with interest about Michael's documentary work and so on. I didn't really know Michael from that point of view. I met Michael and Carol about 11 years ago when they moved to their house in Mar Vista. And I'd come over every month or so and potter around, help Michael with odds and ends around the property. And that property was my nemesis. I couldn't even get plastic plants to grow on that property. And Michael kind of took over. And I didn't want to relinquish the reins to him. I didn't know him that well. So I would go out and buy 10, 20 plants and put them into the ground the way I thought they should go. And go over a month later and he would say, Gare, which is always his wind up to, we've got to talk. And I'd say yes. And he said, well, I've been plotting where the sun goes, throughout the day. And I've got a little chart here I want you to take a look at. And, those hibiscus trees you planted on the side of the house? I said, yeah. He goes, well, I moved them to the back. And, those vines you planted along the front of the house? I moved them to pots behind the house. And so basically everything I did, he would unwind and do them his way. And frankly, he was probably right, but I didn't like hearing it at the time. So Michael was a very soft, gentle man. And he was a good guy. He's the kind of guy you could sort of talk about anything with and hang out with. And I'm going to miss him. And Carol, I'm in the neighborhood all the time, so whatever you need. And I love you guys, so I'm just really can't even believe this is happening.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love you too. You've been such a help. Thank you.
Okay.
Karen, can you unmute? There you go.
There. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Karen. Hi.
Hi. Well, I wasn't going to cry. Oh my God. Okay, you're going to have to come back to me.
Bill
Can
and
you come back to me?
if you're still there, Bill and Sandy. Debbie Kornowski?
Debbie spoke already. She's gone.
Oh, Andrew Yarrow, are you?
Andy.
Can you be?
I'm here. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
I'm sorry for the technology glitch. This has been such devastating news. I love Michael. I love you, Carol. We went back a long time. I met Michael as an undergrad at UCLA back in the late 70s. And, of all places, maybe appropriate in a class on Marxism. And, I'll jump up to a more recent memory. I guess, there's so many. Over all these decades, Michael and I had talked about doing some project together. And, me as a journalist and writer, and Michael is such a wonderful filmmaker, he discovered this treasure trove of 5 million photographs of the old Look magazine. And we started talking about 5 or 6 years ago, and it turned into a book project that we were going to do together. And we had gone a long way, and Michael had become too ill to really move forward. So I've continued with it. I'm going to dedicate the book to Michael, which will come out next year. You know, I guess the day Michael went into the hospital, you know, I talked with him. You know, it just seemed like time with him would go on forever. The great conversations, you know, that I'd come out to LA. You know, and speaking of hospitality, you know, you've got to be great friends, Carol and Michael was. That remember the time that my son and I missed a connecting flight in LA, and we showed up at your house at 2 a.m. and left at 7 a.m. It's pretty embarrassing, but you were wonderful. You know, as you know, Carol, I talked with Michael a lot about the Aaron Sapir book, and I'd love to help. I know you've got a lot of helpers out there, but, you know, I certainly can. And, you know, anything I can do. And, you know, you're welcome in Washington. And, you know, one thing to suggest, you know, hopefully in 4 months, we'll be celebrating Donald Trump being driven out of town. And despite the cold, maybe you can come. But I feel for you, Carol, and I'm here.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. Michael loved you very much. And I do too. Thank you.
Thanks.
Ina?
Dana? Was it Dana?
Yes.
Milliken? Dana?
Milliken. Oh, maybe your computer is turned down the volume.
It's just my.
There, yes, a little bit louder, and then we're perfect.
An amazing thing.
We can't hear you too well. A little bit. Can we come back to you and just try and make sure that the volume, not the mute, but the volume on your computer, make sure that's turned up. Thank you. Deborah Renner.
Debbie Renner.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Debbie. Hi, Faith.
Hi.
Yeah, so we knew Carol first way back in nowadays and activism and, you know, those heels at the Detroit Athletic Club, if you recall that.
Oh, yeah.
But I also recall being at your wedding and seeing some handsome guy and, you know, a lot of marches, rallies, whatever that we did, that Michael was always supportive of you in your run for state office. And then when you moved to California, we kind of watched you from afar, but I always appreciated his support of you and his lovely commentary. I always loved, even though they were somewhat long, they were very thoughtful. He was always very positive. And then seeing he was into gardening, it was just, it was awesome. So, you know, we send our love, and we just had dinner with Jerry Barkley.
Oh.
And so
we'll share the video.
We'll share this with her.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Zoom is not her gig.
Yeah.
But we
appreciated seeing her.
We appreciate seeing you there on our last trip there, although we did not see Michael, but you know, all our love to you.
Yes.
Love you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Rick? Rick, can you unmute?
Yeah, hey everybody. Carol, it's Eric Luskin in
Hi,
Boston.
Eric.
Hello, Carol.
You look like a mountain man.
It's a COVID classic. What
Yeah,
can I say?
it looks good on you.
Thank you. It's been really extraordinary, just kind of sitting in the background and hearing all of the great memories about Michael. I sort of feel like an interloper in the sense that although I've known Michael professionally for, I don't know, 15 or 17 years, and so many great conversations that we had, and attempts at trying to do projects, some of which worked out and some of them didn't. I just feel so privileged to have worked with you and Michael on that public television project with Sir Ken. And, together, I think with your guidance and Michael's persistence, we created something that's going to continue to help people. And I think that's probably one of the things about Michael that I feel really touched about, is that through his career and his life with you, so many lives have been touched and changed and improved. And he really was one of those people that, although I didn't really get to spend that much time with the two of you, I always felt was a friend and a supporter, and a person you could go to for ideas and counsel, and just shooting the bull and having a good time on a phone call. So I know there are a lot of people who are here now who have very strong feelings and a long history, so I won't take up much time, but my hugs to you, and I know we'll stay in touch. And it's just shocking news that Michael's life ended as suddenly as it did, and as drastically as it did. Yeah. And I just, I know his life has been a blessing and will continue to be. And my best and my love to you and your family. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. That was a fun project. I don't know if you know, Sir Ken passed away.
Right,
17 days before Michael did.
Right. I have no doubt they're scheming on some of the projects.
I hope so. I hope so. Thank you. That was one of our favorite projects. Love you.
Thank you. It was one of the first times I ever entered a premises that had a sign on the door saying that you couldn't bring guns in. I'm still thinking about that. Anyway, my love.
Thank you, Eric.
Bye, Carol.
Gary, should we try the audio again? Gary Merriam?
Oh, we heard from Gary.
Marcy Paul.
Marcy.
Can you?
I was just writing a note saying that I couldn't stay on, and actually Stuart is, could you come back to me, because I'm going to go grab my husband so that we both can talk?
Absolutely. In fact, at this point, I think just because the screen has moved around, put up your hand, and then I'll know that we need to call on you.
Okay.
So, what's it, Stevens?
Hi. Okay. So my mom, first of all, had a technical glitch and isn't able to get on. So I have her on FaceTime.
Hi, Patty.
There's Mom.
Hi, sister. Hi, Patty.
Hey. Thinking about Carol. I wish we could be there. I wish I could see you on my own computer instead of just on my phone. I guess I'm not as computer literate as I thought. Thinking about you, thinking about Michael, with us, just like you, he'll be in our hearts too. His memory will live on, as well as all his works and researches. So, I love you.
Love you too.
I will talk to you soon.
Okay.
Also, Kevin is here with me.
Hi.
Hi, Kevin.
I just wanted to say that, I know my sister talked about it, Liz, and my cousin Patrick mentioned it. So many great family memories. And I remember when my thesis got published, I was like, he was probably one of the top people I was so excited to share it with, because he is so supportive of anyone's endeavor. And then we bonded over when I was teaching Emmett Till.
Right.
We
right.
shared an interest in that story. He was very genuine. Always had the time for you. That's all I could say.
He was very proud of you, sweetie. He was very proud of you.
You, Liz Reinstein.
Liz, where did she go? There she is. Hi, Liz Reinstein.
Look, there I am.
Okay.
Am I here?
Yeah.
This is all new to me as well. Wow, I'm just overwhelmed by everybody. It's just, yeah, it doesn't seem real, really, Carol, really.
It doesn't.
It's way too soon. I met Michael at our gym that Carol and Michael we all went to, but I didn't ever see Carol because she went at a different time. But every day that I went, I saw Michael sitting on the same recumbent bike, reading the LA Times or the whatever he was reading every single time. And I'd say hi to him, and I thought, God, is he gonna talk to me finally and say hi? And I'd sit down on the bike next to him, and I would try to stir up a conversation, even though I know he wanted to just sit there and read the newspaper. But I was persistent, and he was just amazing, so gracious. And as soon as I met him and we started talking, then he invited me, and he said, "You don't know Carol?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know Carol." So he invited me over to the house, in Marina Del Rey, and that was it. It was just one party after another, and all my Thanksgivings and all the parties, and just, I don't know, you guys became family to me, because my family and we don't get along, and my parents were older and ill, and you guys just rode all my waves with me, and always there to catch me. And I learned so much from you guys, and I don't know, he's just always, like everybody else is saying, I'm repeating myself, repeating what you're saying, that he just always was present. Even if he was so busy with all the projects, if I called him, he just took the time and was completely focused on me, even though, like someone else said, I wanted to talk about him, but he didn't want to. I don't know, whenever I'm in your house, it just felt like my home, more than maybe my home ever felt, really. Anyway, then I learned how much he was, you guys moved over to Mar Vista. And I remember him saying, God, all I want to do is garden, and this is just cement and this pool, and I'm not into it. I have to have a garden. And I don't know, just kismet, I guess, happened. And one of my dearest friends moved to Pasadena, and she had a plot in this garden right up the street. Actually, yeah, it was right up the street from where they just moved, and I literally lived in back of them. I was engaged at the time. I was living like literally in the street over. And I was so blessed to be able to pass this garden on to Michael. And I am so happy that he got all those years out of this lovely garden, and everybody got to experience it. And Carol, you got to have those beautiful flowers, and we shared a fig dinner one night. That I made this fig salad, and it was just, it's just so lovely. And the Christmases, and yes, Michael in the kitchen, beware. For sure. I don't know, it just can't believe he's not here. And Carol, I'm right down the street, and I'm here for you. You know that.
I know. Love you. Thank you.
But I got to see him a week before he went into the hospital, and I drove over there and stood outside and talked to you guys outside, and socially distanced.
Socially distanced, yeah.
Definitely wanting to hug you guys so much, but I'm so thankful that I drove over there and hung out for that long. And yeah, I love you so much, and I'm here.
Love you, Liz. Thank you.
Love you.
Marcy, you're on.
Hey, guys.
She's muted.
Marcy and Stuart.
Hi.
Hi.
You made it. I got him. Here he is.
I see him.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I'm just, it's really hard to say much of anything else and add to it, I think. But I will say that I worked with him. I don't even know if you know it. I worked with him before I met you, Carol. And of course, after I did meet you, then it was, you know, all you, pretty much.
Yeah.
Have a way of, you know, taking things over. But one thing I noticed is I think you were perfect for each other because of his sense of humor, his fabulous sense of humor, and your incredible laugh. You were just perfectly paired. And we're going to really miss him, even though you guys are far away. I'm glad we had a chance to talk to him before he went in, but we're just going to miss him, and I wish we were there to be with him.
Thank you.
Well, I will say that, well, to me, Michael is the original mensch. You know, I said that to you on the phone. That's all I can think about him. And obviously his sense of humor, which could be nicely caustic at times. He could nail somebody and they would have no idea that he just got them. And it's so sweet about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing I'll miss, and that is that every time, I don't know if you knew this, but like every time Michael would call and we talk about the Shapiro doc, and I would just nag him and say, you know, Michael, you just got to make a feature out of this. Forget this documentary. You know how to make documentaries. Like, screw that. We should do a feature. This deserves a feature. I can just see it. I can just see it. And that would be like this mantra. And I wouldn't let up on him on it. You know, but anyway, we will miss him, and we will remember him always, for sure. And I'll still come invade your house.
Yeah, we'll still come visit you every time.
Okay, I hope so.
Yeah.
You better.
You better believe it. You do know that you made me the activist that I am, and so you created a monster. All
A
your
good
fault.
one. A good.
All your fault.
It's all my fault. I love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.
So please raise your hand if you want to say something.
I'm going to raise my hand physically.
I love it. Who said that? Suzanne's iPad? Go for it.
Mike, my brother.
Please. Oh, Mike, go.
I've known Carol my entire life and most of her life.
Most.
I've known Michael almost as long as Carol has. But I want to thank Monica for suggesting this and Sherry for hosting it. You've done a fantastic job. Really appreciate it.
Oh,
thank you to all of you for inviting us into your homes. Nice places you have. I want to give Carol a hug for all of you, just so you know she's getting one. And I want to say about Michael, I agree with everybody here. There's not much more I can add. I thoroughly enjoyed conversations with Michael, as everyone did. But I do want to add this. You marry my sister, you better be good to her, you better love her. And that was never an issue with Michael. They had a great relationship and I was jealous of it. And I loved him like a brother. Thank you.
Who else? Please raise your hand. Suzanne's iPad.
It's Suzanne's iPad, but it's Judy. Uh-oh.
Judy.
Low battery. We're getting a low battery signal after all this.
Oh, no.
Hang on. Hang on. Oh, wait a minute, Carol. Hang on.
Okay, plug something in.
We're plugging.
Okay.
I can't believe it.
We'll come back to you. Let's go with Karen.
We're here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, back.
Karen, you're next.
Okay. Karen? Oh, okay.
No, go ahead, Suzanne.
Oh, it's okay. So, can you see me?
Yep.
Yes.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Judy.
Well, first of all, this is just shit. I just wanted to express it, okay? You know, I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry that Spitfire closed. I'm sorry, you know, for these things that are happening. And he was just unbelievable. His spirit is so light and beautiful that honestly, I didn't see this coming, because even though I actually was on Facebook with him a lot in the last few weeks, he just never said the kinds of things that I would be saying in his position, which would have been a lot of swearing and, you know, why me? And I didn't do anything to do. He just was, he just carried himself always so special. And I think that's what everybody's saying here today. And you, yes, you are going to go on with your amazing spirit, and the fact that you guys can network, which I'm so horrible at. It's just been a special gift to me. But Carol, I believe that what you had with Michael does go on. I mean, like, it's Sonny and Cher. It's just it's a bond. It's something that you take with you, because it was that, something went away. Okay, it's just that you have it and it's not going anywhere. You just build on this with your own life. And that's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen. And I just wanna be a part of whatever next steps you take. And I'm here cheering you. And by the way, everybody, Carol and I met in Maui with Michael on a prep trip we were all on, and I met her right 2 seconds after I met Michael. When I told him, he asked me what I did, and I told him I was the editor-in-chief of The Advocate, and he suddenly said, "Oh, you have to meet my wife." And I have no idea why he said that, and it was that he wanted to tell me that you had been the president of Now, and that we had so much in common. And that was just the way he was. He just stepped aside and said, "I know who you should know." So anyway, I'm grateful for that. And this is my wife, Suzanne, that you know well. We're here, you know we are. I'm sorry about this COVID thing, and we love you.
I love you too. Thank you. Thank you. And Michael adored you, you know.
Yes,
He's such an amazing person, and
well,
such a testament to you, all of these amazing people, and all the women that you knew that loved him so much.
It was special.
He was a special man.
Well, you're not alone. You are not alone. It's all still with you. You know that. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you.
I feel responsible to point out in this era of so many lies that Sonny and Cher didn't go on.
But I knew her daughter, who became her son, very well. And the thing is, Cher was never more upset when he died.
Aww.
So that love did go on. That was love. So I feel it was okay to say that, Carol. I hope you understand.
With an explanation, it's fine now.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay.
My Judy was also a rock and roll journalist, so she hung out with these folks.
All right.
Yeah, it was something, but that's okay. Love you, Carol.
All right. Thank you. Karen.
Hi,
Okay.
Karen.
Hi, Carol. I just wanted to tell you how much I love you and how much the two of you have had an impact in my own life. I met Carol and Michael through a friend who worked with Coalition Against Slavery and Trafficking. And she said to me, oh my gosh, you've got to meet Carol and Michael. They're amazing people. They make documentary films. You're going to love them. And so I did, and it was really true. And luckily, a few years later, I had the chance to work with both of them on a number of shows, one being the show about the private jets,
Yeah.
which I had no idea what I was stepping into, but it really truly was the wildest ride of my life. From Los Angeles to Tahoe to Vegas in the same day. And later hearing Michael, I asked Michael, I said, Michael, you know, how did you even come up with that whole idea? And hearing his explanation when he said, well, you know, I was thinking about private jets and I just came up with this thing and I just pitched it. And then they said, yes. And then I said, oh my God, how am I going to do it? And then he said, and then, so what I did is I thought, okay, who do I know with a jet? Who do I know with a car? Who do I know with a boat? And he put it all together. And meanwhile, while Michael was coming up with all these ideas, working with Carol and Michael, Carol would sometimes be, you know, rarely she'd be cursing in the background, thinking about how the hell am I going to get this done? But the two of you always were so amazing, and the team that you had and the love that you two shared, and the way you two work together was and is an inspiration to me in my own life. And I saw a quote recently saying, you know, it was a river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. And I thought about Michael and how apropos this is. And I think that was something that, you know, with his films, with his projects, he was dogged at moving them forward. And I just, the time that I had to spend with him and with you all as friends, as mentor, you know, many people have said it, but I love the opportunity to bounce ideas off Michael, and you know, he took the time to listen. He was enthusiastic. He had knowledge about seemingly all things.
Yes.
And a super curious mind, sharp wit, his kindness, his generosity of spirit, his passion for stories. I mean, all of that really remains unparalleled in my life. And I spoke to him right after his transplant, and it was like other people have said, you know, he had his same, you know, strength and lightness in his voice and tossing around ideas. And after we talked, you know, he sent me an email with a follow-up idea to what we talked about. And he signed it with just a thought. And I thought, you know, I've been missing Michael's thoughts and spirit from the moment I heard he passed. But, you know, I just know that you and his friends and the world really does too. And I'm just thankful for all those that he did share with us. And I want you to know I'm here with you, and happy to, you know, do anything I can to make this period more bearable. And just, I love you.
Love you too. Thank you, Karen. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Andrew.
Harry?
Hey, Sherry and Richard and Monica, thank you so much for organizing this. I just always thought of Michael as so upbeat and optimistic, and I thought he would live forever. He loved California. Every time I did a walking tour of the classic movie locations, I wondered if anyone would show up, and there was Carol and Michael. And I couldn't believe that even if there was like 5 people, they would always be there for us. And I thought it was just me. And then I'm here at this memorial, and I'm finding out he was supportive for everyone, hundreds of people, every one of us. He showed up for all of our endeavors. And so, you know, Michael's soul still is alive. I truly believe he's here with all of us, but his physical body is not. His hands aren't here to do the wonderful good works that he did while he was on this planet. So I would suggest that moving forward, as Carol said, if we can pay it forward, and especially with all the hate speech out there, maybe just pick 3 friends and just be supporters to those 3 friends, when Michael was a supporter for hundreds of us. and just try to be, upbeat and optimistic about your friends' endeavors. And even if you feel like they're not going to care about what I think, they do. And look at how many times Michael on Facebook just went out of his way to be a good person, such a mensch, and trying to spread positivity. So I don't know if there's any other causes, Carol, that you want us to do, but I would think at the very least, let's try to be good to each other and think of Michael Rose, because he doesn't have his hands to do that right now, but let's try to make an effort, at least pick 3 friends to just go out there and support their endeavors.
That's beautiful, Harry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the good work you did.
Thank you.
So Liz, did you want to say something? Paul, did you have your hand up? Anyone else?
Indeed, I did. I didn't have my hand up. However, I want to add that Rima and I absolutely adore you. Carol, we loved Michael. He was one of the true people in the world who would give and share and do anything for anybody else. And he was a lovely, lovely, lovely human being. And anything we can do, you know that. I don't have to say that. It's a given. You're sensational. Like I told you earlier today, you're sensational. And that's that.
Thank you.
And we'll talk soon. Forever and ever. This doesn't stop. Doesn't stop. It goes on. Life delights in life.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn and Rima.
And Sherry, Carol, I have to admit something here. I don't know if you knew, but I like to be a little bit subversive with you and Michael. I know you were very careful about what you eat, and Michael, you two were so much one that he convinced himself that he really didn't like to eat that much. And one of my favorite things was occasionally when I could sneak him out of the house and I would take him someplace for something like sushi. And I would see this look on his face and it would be like, oh, I do like food after all. I would do that often. I didn't want to spoil him, but it was fun to remind him that there was some good food out there he couldn't always eat.
It was good for him to do that.
Yeah. And by the way, Carol, one of the joys of this evening has just been hearing you laugh again. It's always been just so great to hear. You know well, I didn't have much of a good family life when I grew up. I was an only child, and that was something that bonded Michael and myself from the first time we met when we discovered that. And Michael, as I often would say, was the brother I had by a different mother. It was wonderful because my father could be loving and he could be abusive. My mother was an odd duck. And so I didn't have great feelings about family until I met both of you and got to really know you. And you became, in a way that I never knew was possible. And that is a thing. It's been catching up. It's almost like this has been a slow crawl on me to think about all the things that both of you have been and what Michael individually was. And each day I think about another element of the loss of his being. It's beyond his intelligence and his wit and the fact that we were both car guys, and all of that. But it's the feeling of family. And those calls were like what I would imagine if I had a true family, what it would have been. And he was, and you are still true family to me. And I hope that never ends. He will still be, to me, family as you always will be. To me, it was a hole in my life that I only discovered with you too. And I thank you for that a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you. Michael and I feel the same way.
And by the way, to give you an idea how much impact you had in my life, you guys almost made me like LA.
Very good.
Oh,
Very
my,
good.
I love you. Dan.
love you.
And by the way, Mike King, thank you for everything. You have been wonderful. And I hope you know that everybody who's been there for Carol, realize just how important it's been. You've been a great, you again showed what family is all about. I wish I'd known you better over these years, and hopefully I will. Thank you all. I have to run, but I've got to, believe it or not, write a deadline tonight, but I just want to stay on to say this.
Thank you.
Love you dearly, and we will talk soon.
Love you too, Jen and Paul. Thank you.
And thank you, Sherry, for doing this.
Oh, what a pleasure. Thank you all for coming. Just to make sure nobody was missed, is there anyone else who needs to say something at this moment? And if not, I think I speak for everyone.
Sherry, I'd like to say one thing. Thank you, Sherry, for hosting this for Michael and for Carol and for Mike and for Phyllis and for all the family and all the friends. It's really been absolutely sensational. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for opening up your hearts and giving them to Carol. So
how could one not?
well, she's just delicious and magnetic, and I just would like to say, let us remember that she knows we're here, but sometimes you don't feel like picking up the phone. So the onus is on us. Let's reach out and offer her, whether it's food or I'm going to make you go out, put on 15 masks. Let's do it. Lots of
Amen.
love, everyone. All right. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Cherry. I really appreciate it. I love you and Richard. You're just special people. Thank you.
Love you too.
Yeah, thank you for doing this.
Want to talk? Okay. You're
We
also
love you, Carol. Bye-bye.
Bye, Carol, love you.
Love you too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you
Love
for
you.
doing this.
I
I had my doubts about this, but
It was great.
it was really very moving for me, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
You too. Love you all.
Love you.
Sending you a big hug, Carol. Bye, Carol. Love you.
Bye-bye.
So, Michael?
Bye, Phyllis. Bye, Michael. Mike.
Bye. Bye, Lynn.
Hi, everyone.
And my sister. No.
Bye, Carol. Bye, Uncle Mike. Bye, Phyllis.
Bye, we love you.
Love you guys. Love you. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye, Phil. Bye, you guys.
Bye,
Bye.
Philly.
Thank you. Bye, Carol.
We'll talk.
Yes, soon.
Love you.
Until the next time.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay.
Talk to you soon, Carol.
Okay. Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Everyone.
Take care. Stay safe, everyone.
Bye, Carol. Reach out.
Okay, I will. Bye. Tell Paul I said hi too.
I will. He was on it, but he wasn't visible.
Okay.
So he heard it all. He's
Give him
sending
my
his
love.
love. He's sending his love to you as well.
Okay. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Sherry. This was
Oh, my
great.
pleasure.
We all needed it. We all need it. So important.
Yes, we did. We did. And Darlene was here. I didn't hear from her, but hi, Darlene. Love you.
Michael, if you want to talk, maybe we should do a phone call. Otherwise, it'll be on the recording. It's up to you.
No, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Then lots of love to everyone. And God bless Michael. And God bless Carol.
Thank you, Sherry.
Lots of
Love
love.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.